Pain. The breath. Full screen.
I don't know what happened there.
I don't know what happened either, but I gotta switch.
What did I miss? Because we're live.
Yeah, it's just there was some audio weirdness that happened with the intro, but it says "Save your breath for screaming" for those of you who missed it. Welcome to the 34th episode of Screaming into the Void, the show where we talk about whatever the hell we feel like. My name is Samuel the Infamous. This is my channel, and with me are my co-hosts, Cat Serves the Corpus,
AKA the official corpus marketing director.
And Ryan from Legion Games 2076.
Who was also first in the chat, and Larry can suck it.
So, at least I was setting up another monitor, so I couldn't get into any chats. That was the first of the three of us.
We got Kohai in the chat with us. I don't see anybody else yet. It's kind of weird. It's a little slow. It might just be because I took my sweet freaking time setting this up today.
Yeah, you usually do it pretty good. You usually have it set up by about 3 o'clock. So, and you also tweeted it late also.
I did. I've been having like yesterday when I said I was having a day. Well, the day's not over. So,
lovely.
It's just been in the midst of a bunch of different stuff, and so here we are.
Well, we had I was going to swear, but I'm not going to. We had a blast last night, so let's have a blast tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And starting with, have you guys seen the Chinese balloon account on Twitter?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It is possibly the funniest satire account I have seen since Ministry of Truth.
Yeah, the Ministry of Truth is great too.
Wait, then I must be thinking of something else, because I was just thinking you meant in general what's going on with the Chinese balloon.
Oh no!
There's an account.
There is a parody account called Chinese Balloon that is speaking from the perspective of the Chinese balloon.
Oh God!
And one of the recent tweets this morning was actually quoting Arnold Schwarzenegger from the end of Terminator 2, because they finally announced they were going to shoot the damn thing down. He's like, I know now why you cry. After it's done all of its spying, and Joe Biden got permission from Winnie the Pooh to do so. Yes. So yeah, they did shoot it down. Yeah, it is a whole thing. But anyway, the tweet was, I know now why you cry, but it's something I can never do.
Let me see if I can find it.
Just brilliant. I can probably link it to you, because I followed him yesterday.
I hadn't had a chance to follow him. Maybe they deleted the account or something because the ordeal's over.
Nope, it's still up. Hold on just a second. I will link it to you. Yeah.
No, okay. Maybe I'm wrong, but from what I think I heard on Tucker Carlson, that they've been monitoring this thing for months. It's like they could have shot it over the ocean. They could have shot it over.
I wouldn't be surprised.
That they've been monitoring it since it left China, and that this isn't the only one. There are multiple balloons, and yet they're letting them do this.
Well, have you seen the photo of all the air bases that we have surrounding the area?
I haven't seen that photo, but I have heard that there are a lot of them, and that's where our nukes are.
Well, it was funny because hey Squatch, good to see you, buddy. And Zeron, we got Zeron here. What was funny was when it was over Montana a couple days ago. All right, everybody was just like, "Oh, it's just Montana. There's nothing to see there." It's like, you do realize that that's where we keep like a significant portion of our nuclear arsenal, right?
Yeah, no, that's the first thing that even before I heard it on the news, I knew that we had nuclear arsenal in Montana. I was like, oh God.
Oh yeah, we have them all over the fucking place, especially in rural America, because there's so much space.
Yeah. I mean, we've got them in Wyoming. The Dakotas are chock full of them. There's a few in Nebraska. I mean, hell, I think there's even a couple of silos in Colorado, but they try to keep that, as far away from like Central Command as possible, and NORAD's down there. So
yeah. All right, cool. Yeah. I'm gonna follow this thing because literally the header says, "Don't pop me, bro."
Yeah, it's really funny.
I mean, if you're literally gonna, I mean, because it's such a clown show that it's like you got to laugh at it, but at the same time, it's like our administration is so fucking incompetent.
problem is I keep thinking whenever I think of this balloon, sort of like when you hear stories if you play Fallout 4 or Fallout at 70, they talk about the old war and they're like, if we had known about this, and it's like I could just imagine 50 years from now people being, it started with the balloon and be like, they didn't know any better. It was a balloon floating above them, and then it's like, and then we found out what the balloon really was about.
Well, and also the thing too is that Fallout talked about this perfectly. It was about basically a war with the Chinese that ultimately took down the United States, and it was because the Chinese sent their nukes over first, and that there were Chinese spies that had infiltrated America everywhere in business and government and all that stuff. Like it's not far fetched. It's like I hate to say it.
Yeah,
Well,
that's that's all true, but you know, that I don't know. I guess what I'm laughing at is not so much that it happened, because honestly, the fact that our so-called government allowed Chinese military aircraft into U.S. airspace in the fucking first place is a big problem,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
It makes us look weak.
Mhm.
And
Right.
if what they're saying is true, they've been monitoring it since they left China, then that's even worse. They had the opportunity
Mhm.
to get it before it entered our airspace, and yet they didn't.
Now, if they're not telling the whole story, like they were jamming this thing the whole entire time, so they couldn't because I don't believe that there's probably hardware on it where it was actually recording. I think it was transmitting through satellite, because it was literally 60,000 feet in the air. That's about 28,000 feet higher than most commercial airline jets fly. So you could
Yeah.
see there was a United flight, somebody's recording it, and you can see how high that thing is above the airline that's at probably 33,000 feet.
Yeah.
So it's like it was probably relaying to a satellite. Now, if you're blocking it, great. And you wanted to shoot it down where it could be a safe site over the Atlantic to see what they were trying to recover and see what they were
Hello.
trying to track. I just don't know.
Yeah. You know,
Because
and
they're-
that's
they
why
were-
I've been enjoying this fucking this parody account so much, though, because it kind of is helping take the edge off a little bit of the fact that, you know, not only is, I mean, we knew the Chinese were spying on us. I mean, that's what TikTok is, you know.
Yeah.
But we, you know, the fact that our government allowed this to happen in the first place stings. It does sting. So, you know, this account has taken some of that sting out of there by making me laugh. And I can't bring up what's that?
I was just gonna say, it isn't just that they're spying on us through TikTok; they're totally destroying our children through TikTok.
Oh, absolutely.
Hey, thanks, Aaron.
Absolutely. And I know that I know, like, Ryan Kennel jokes about it and stuff like that. He's like, if the Chinese really want to see me jerking off on my phone or whatever, take all the photos you want. And you know what? Hey, that's a funny take on that. But at the same time, though, you had these losers that work for the federal government, and they were putting it on their like government issue phone, and it's like, that's not cool. Like, you wouldn't want so like most law enforcement agencies give you a phone so you can communicate with just the other officers and dispatch, so you have a standard number and they don't have to use your personal line.
It's not just PD.
I know
I work in local government. I have a dedicated phone just for my job.
Yeah, and you're not supposed to screw with that, and it's like, and that's also something that's monitored too. It's like, because they monitor just like the computers in a police cruiser are. If you're only if you're only pulling over attractive girls, like they can see that there's a record of that. They're like going, "Hey, dude, what are you doing?" And it's like, it's the same thing. It's for security risks, and TikTok is a massive security risk when it comes to high level officials, and I think TikTok is garbage.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And it's not just TikTok. I mean, we all know that Google sold out to the Chinese years ago. Right about the time that they took was it Google that had "Don't Be Evil" in their charter? And then it's not there anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a
right about the time they signed on with the CCP, they removed that from their charter.
Well, and it also just goes to all these companies that like Apple wants to sit here and talk shit, and it's like, well, where do you think your fucking phone is made? It's made in China. And and unfortunately, because we outsourced ourselves to the Chinese because we like cheap stuff. And that's kind of come back to shoot us in the foot. Just like with the stuff with Taiwan, the majority of these semiconductors are made in Taiwan. It's like 90%. And then another small percentage is made in China, and then another small percentage is just now surfacing here. And we're trying to ramp that up because we literally, like, if the Chinese were to overtake Taiwan, and I know there's people like, well, that's never going to happen. And I'm like, Taiwan is like 90 miles off of the freaking coast of China. It's a small boat ride, and like, come on, man.
Yeah. Hey, Zeron, what actually happened was, so China went to Google and they said, we need you to basically repeat what you did with Google for us, so that we can keep it inside China for our people, but so that we can censor anything that comes up that we don't like. And Google initially said no, and China said, fine, we'll just steal your code and backwards engineer it. And so Google's like, well, shit, we can't let you do that, so we'll build it for you. And they did build it for them. It wasn't that they basically were given no choice. They were blackmailed into it.
It's like, hey fam, you don't just get cheap computers or like cheap NFL jerseys from China. Like, you get everything cheap from China. Like everything.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't think that and also at the same time, if you don't think that all the shit that we left in Afghanistan, thanks there, Joey boy, you're talking about like $90 billion worth of US equipment, including Black Hawk helicopters. In China wasn't like on the phone with the dudes over there going like, hey man, what y'all got? Can we come down? Can we take a look? If you don't think they're going to update their helicopters using our fucking technology, because the UH-60, even though it's literally like 30 years old, is still a top-notch helicopter. It's like,
and like I keep saying, like that would be a bigger threat if Arabs make great pilots, but they don't.
No, well, actually, no. We make great pilots. We aim and land or hit whatever we aim for. So
it's the safe landings that you all have trouble with.
You're implying that those landings weren't what we wanted. That's the thing. We weren't trying to land.
Yeah.
Perfectly
So
on target.
now that I've got my my racist joke out of the way.
Look, it's only racist if the person you're trying to is offended, and I think it's hilarious.
Why do you think that Cat likes all those shoot 'em up games? It's because they're all violent people over there. I'm kidding. But no, it's a legitimate fact. Like when you let this Chinese spy balloon literally fly over the damn United States or whatever, like, and you're not transparent about it, it's gonna send the wrong message. And if you're not backing up Taiwan the way you should be, and everybody's like flipping out when Nancy Pelosi flew over there, and she's gonna start World War III, and I'm like, well, what do you want her to do? Not go? Like, if we don't go, I mean, you saw what the weakness of Ukraine did. Like, do you want to fund Taiwan like we're funding Ukraine? Send over another $100 and some odd billion?
I think in Taiwan's case,
Taiwan's more worth it than Ukraine.
I get what you're saying, but yeah, that's what I'm getting at, is that Taiwan would actually be worthwhile. That's actually a worthy thing. Those people want to be free. Ukraine wants to continue to be Ukraine, which is the hotbed of corruption in Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
So, hey, Carrie.
Ukraine sounds like horrible. Why are we supporting them?
Did you see that meme of Zelensky's wife before and after all the money?
Yeah,
she's like flat chested in the first picture. In the second picture, she's got these huge bazongas.
I would be surprised. Because all that money.
Yeah.
So that's just the stuff they're taking off the top. Most of that's getting laundered through their government and sent right back to the politicians that sent it over in the first place.
Ding, 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 ding. Here, I'm sharing that the tweet of all of our air bases that surround China, and the the Pacific Ocean.
Thing is, our air bases are. I hope our military is still a threat because given where it's going on and making sure you got your pronouns right before you step on a plane, because they probably have their pronouns like on their.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm having trouble bringing my my Twitter up. My internet's having issues with that right now. If you want to bring it up, that'd be good.
I'll pull it up. Hold on, let me pull it up on this computer. Oh,
yeah, but yeah, and I still don't believe that China is the threat that they once were. I don't. I think
I don't either.
I think that we have bigger problems right now. That's not to say that they are not a threat. You know, in some capacity, I'm sure they are. You know, in terms of undermining the economy and all of that stuff. I don't believe that they're the military threat that they once were, though.
No, but the thing is, I agree with you if you were talking about China alone. However, we're talking about a lot of countries are now working with China. I mean, didn't the Middle East agree to work with China or Russia?
Yeah.
Or something? Yeah. So that's the thing.
Iran is working with them.
Yeah, so that's the thing, which is like, God damn it, you guys, what's wrong with you? Who in the Middle East would be working with China when they were literally putting Muslims in education camps?
Not it. It's the wrong kind.
Yeah.
Zillage, frankly, it is, again, like I said, it isn't that China is not a threat. They are, but they're not the big one that we need to be worrying about any more than Russia is. They're both currently at odds with NATO and the WEF. And I think they're the biggest threat to everyone worldwide. And I think that Russia and China knows that that WEF is a threat to their bids for supremacy. You know, and that's basically what it comes down to. Everybody involved in that shitstorm is a piece of shit, but some of them are bigger pieces of shit than others.
Yeah.
You know.
The biggest problem is that the World Economic Forum doesn't have the big booms, and Russia and China
they don't need it. They're succeeding just fine through economics and political threats.
Yeah. The problem is those that you have like Xi and you have Putin and stuff like that who are they're a little bit unstable and a little bit in love with their own their own farts, their own legacy, and that provides for fragile egos. Look at, and I'll say this about Donald Trump too, but look at Joe Biden also. Like, that man cannot stand being criticized, and when he is criticized, the dementia you can easily see kicks in, and he gets mean, like more mean than than Trump did. Like Trump was just like, you're fake news, and like you're dying to stuff like that. Trump talked out his ass, and half the time it was fucking hilarious. Like, but there are other times I was like, why'd you say that? Like, that's not a good look. But no, Joe Biden legitimately has like fucking outbursts of anger because he's fucking dementia ridden.
Well, that's actually pretty common for dementia patients too. Because
absolutely it is.
Because part of them is aware that their mind is degenerating and they hate it. It makes them angry, and it should, because it's a fucking awful thing to go through.
Yeah, like, and no offense, I have to be honest, like the people who pushed him to run, because towards the end there, he always wanted to be president, but it's like, how much does this actually come from like family and friends and shit? Like, this is like, at some point, it's got to be fucking elder abuse.
Yeah.
Oh no, it is. It absolutely is. And actually, my mother would agree with you 100% on that. That he was forced into it. That they keep him on a very short, drugged up leash whenever he's on camera, which is why they freak out every time he goes off script, kind of thing. You notice that his doctor wife is always at his side at these things, right?
Yeah,
but she's always got this look on her face. She's not there to support him. She's there to make sure he stays in fucking line.
Well, and one of the worst things is when the Easter Bunny was fucking grabbing a hold of him. It's like, what fucking aid did they have in there? Be like, going, okay, Joe, no. And it's like the Easter Bunny's walking him away. It's like, that is literally probably one of the worst looks you could ever have. Like, I don't care how much Diet Coke and cheeseburgers Trump ate, but it's like, to have the Easter Bunny be like, come on, Joe. No. Don't talk to the bad reporters.
And to be fair, Boa, Biden was always mean. He was always a dick. But the fact is his mind is failing him. And since he's in the office that he's in, his mind is failing all of us too.
Yeah.
And that's probably, he should not have been put in that position in the first place, regardless of what else the man has said and done throughout his career. He is not at this time.
Yeah. I mean,
A
well,
good candidate for that office. He just isn't.
No. I mean, I'm all for being a fucking human being, and I got blasted
Hey,
for
Mary.
So apparently I was told by a certain individual in the chat that I can't have Larry on Friday nights without their permission. So I wanted to know what was up with that, trying to control the black man. Are we going back to the 1800s here?
Well, she is Arab.
I had to say something. I had to. She said, I know she meant damn straight, but yeah, wow, he's mine. That's super possessive.
That's awesome. Amir, you should have the link if you want to come on and yell at Ryan. I'm good with that.
No, I will free Larry, and then I'll tell him he sucks. Try.
The Boa said something about Canada passing something. Bad news from Canada.
What's not bad news from Canada?
That's why. Yeah, that was some C11 passed the third, whatever.
I think
it's Canada at this point. This is like China.
Yeah, I think this is what you were talking about.
The second attempt, Bill C11 died with the I think it passed the third. Something earlier on, he said, I think he passed.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, Canada's pretty jacked, but that's true.
That's true. That's true.
I've heard stories. If you go over there on vacation, just make sure you keep your passport and your papers on you at all times, because if they swipe them, you ain't getting them back, and then you got to work.
And you need to fucking know where the U.S. consulate is, or like the British one, something of a friendly nation. Because dudes,
yeah,
don't do that fucking American thing where you just like, oh, I'm going to the Middle East. I'm gonna go to I'm gonna go to Saudi Arabia and see all the sights.
Yeah, good luck with that. You try going to Mecca and be like, that would be actually pretty hilarious if somehow some like totally like white, like stereotypical American family somehow managed to get into Mecca, and they're sitting there with their cameras and honey, what's that over? And then they're like, and all the people are like, how? I mean, I could literally see them walk by, and people are just so utterly shocked and baffled that they don't do anything.
C11, something to do with Canadian content creators. I'll be honest, I have not been keeping up on Canadian stuff as much lately. My own country's falling apart. But yeah, that's not good. I mean, and that's Boa's Canadian, so he.
Yeah, and Mugsikins is Canadian too.
Mm-hmm.
You need to free Mugsikins and Boa.
Yes.
Oh, yes, Shadow, you are like the last one to get here.
Yeah, what were you napping?
He was touching it.
he was just sleeping, or were you out on a corner somewhere?
No, he was feeding the ducks. He was touching it. Trust me, he was touching it.
Oh man, got to do it, buddy.
$20 is $20.
Glad you're here. Yeah, actually, that's been happening a lot lately. I've been hearing that from a lot of people that even my notifications, smaller channel as I am, aren't getting to people.
Same with me. My brother told me 2 weeks ago. He said that he hasn't been getting notifications. And like I said, I've noticed my Zer location videos have dropped, and it's a massive drop. It's not like all of a sudden not that many people playing Destiny. This is massive drop. And the only reason it bothers me is it means people who are Destiny players aren't being alerted, so they think, oh, she's not making those videos anymore or something.
Yeah. Shadow, if you haven't met her, she doesn't exist. Just saying.
Well, I'll say this too. If he's putting a wig on you and calling him his girlfriend, then no, it doesn't count either.
No,
because you're wearing that wig and that dress. I have met her. Is she you?
We kid. We love Shadow. We're glad he made it. But yeah, that the notifications have been all kinds of wonky all across YouTube. It's not just the smaller channels. It's not just political channels. It's all across. I noticed that there has been an increase in this kind of activity levered against guns and ammo channels and police oriented channels lately as well. But that, I mean, that's real recent as far as I can tell. So.
But that include fake guns like Destiny 2.
Yeah, it is. I think there was one that was doing a thing on I don't know, some kind of like new Nerf gun or something like that, and they're getting the same like fact checking, shadow banning kind of treatment as guys who talk about the latest and high end military equipment.
That's really dumb.
Yeah, well, they don't see a difference. The algorithm doesn't see a difference. They see gun, they're just like, okay.
Yep. They ban certain words. So certain words are going to push you down, like, firearm, gun, weapon, stuff like that. Because this is a family-friendly platform, and in no way, shape, or form was it founded on edgy content.
Well, it it was, first of all. I mean,
it's not, and it's no way are we promoting things to children that we shouldn't be promoting on YouTube Kids.
It's not just that. It's if we can get the idea of firearms of any kind out of the public eye, then maybe they won't notice when we slip in a little thing that amends or does away with the Second Amendment altogether. If you don't talk about it, it doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's one of those things that they want to control everything you do. It's and that comes from the federal government, because the federal government's the one who fined Google all this money for violations and advertising shit to kids, and they're like, you can't target advertise to kids, and they were doing it, so they fined them like, I don't know, $100 billion or some shit like that. Maybe not that much, but it was a lot of money. And so that's when Google's like, all right, now there's a difference between yes, this is made for kids, and no, this isn't made for kids. So everything I mark is no, it's not made for kids. It's like, if kids find it, that's not my fucking problem.
Yeah.
So hey, Shadow, that act exists already. It's called the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution.
Yep.
Shall not
be infringed.
Yeah.
And it also enables me not just to purchase a firearm to wear on my hip. I could purchase a goddamn fleet of warships if I wanted to.
Or a nuke.
Yeah. I mean, not that I don't know what I would do with that. Oh, we have a guest in the background. I'm going to bring her on.
Uh-oh.
Hey, Mira. And she's gone.
Just like her argument over Larry. Gone.
She'll be back. Just
I'm sure she will. It sounds like she was driving or something.
Yeah, she's usually out and about on Saturday afternoons. So yes, it was. But yeah, and I don't know. It's just one of those things. They're targeting certain types of information on platforms like YouTube, specifically YouTube. YouTube is going full fucking 1984.
Yeah, well, the whole thing about the Pfizer dude, they're saying that's all being knocked out from. It's on Twitter, but it's being kicked off of YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Well, didn't Project Veritas get their shit booted again or locked out or something?
On YouTube, yeah.
Oh no, on Twitter. On Twitter also.
Oh, they did, and there were a bunch of attempts to scrub that video from all platforms, but on Twitter it happened as well, except it didn't work because it got out to too many people first.
Yeah, which also makes me think too that people are probably mass flagging it, and that's just going after it, and that's usually how it works. They go after something they don't like, and of course the system just automatically reacts and takes them down, and then of course you're the one who has to fight it, which is nonsense, because if a bunch of people are flagging something, that should tell you need to take a look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. But it keeps happening with this stuff, like, with the not to get too deep into this again, but because I'm sure we're all sick of it. But the Eliza Blue thing, scrubbing stuff off the internet, especially stuff that she doesn't actually own. Unfortunately for her, I'm sure that there are a number of people, a quartering included, who have downloaded and archived these things before that happened.
Yeah.
The internet is forever. Be careful what you put out there if you don't want it to be seen or bite you in the ass later.
Well, the Red State article was taken down because of a phone call from her father.
Yeah.
And there was also a journalist, or I believe a podcaster / journalist that reached out to him and called him, and she was like, look, she's like, do you know what's going on with your daughter? And he was like, oh, he's like, I haven't talked to my daughter in a while. And she's like, okay. She's like, do you know that there's I would like to talk to you about what's going on with her and stuff like that. And then he all of a sudden he says, he's like, well, I've told you this before. He's like, if she wanted me to talk to you, she would tell me. And it's like, okay, so now you just contradicted the fact that you said you haven't talked to your daughter in a long time, but now you're saying that she doesn't, that she'll give you permission if need be. So it's like, bro, your story sucks.
Yeah.
Xeron Project Veritas is an independent news organization run by a man named James O'Keefe. I think Boa said it down in the chat as well. And they honeypot bad people.
Oh yeah, a lot.
In fact, as a matter of fact, this most recent thing that we were talking about was a honeypot. They got one of the people who worked for Pfizer to come out on a date with what he assumed was a date. I assume they met through Tinder or Grindr or some shit like that, and got him to spill the beans on a lot of shit that was going on at Pfizer, including gain of function research, which they claim isn't gain of function because they call it something else, but essentially and effectively, it's exactly what gain of function is,
Yes.
which is illegal in the United States, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Which is why they went to
Very illegal in the United States. It's
China.
illegal here, like cloning is illegal here.
But it's sort of like if I were to say Buster isn't a cat, Buster's a tiger.
Yeah. So, but that's anyway. They got one of the guys who used to work for Pfizer. I'm sure he doesn't anymore.
I don't know if he works at Life anymore. I have a feeling we're going to find that out soon.
So, well, I mean, it'll probably be 6 months down the road. It'll be found in a garage that with the car had been left on with the door closed, kind of thing.
Well,
Yeah.
my favorite thing is when they hang themselves and with a shotgun blast to the chest. So
Yeah.
it's like, I wasn't strangling to death long enough, so I'm just gonna you're like, what? Okay.
How
So
do you even like if you're hanging by the neck, right? You're right. All your body weight's hanging from your neck. That drains your energy, right? Where's he getting the leverage to pull a fucking shotgun trigger, let alone angle it right?
well, if you want to actually see a movie where an actor actually died from being strangled, you can watch The Mummy with Brendan Fraser. There was a mistake, and he actually they strangled him to death. They didn't realize that it was legit. So like when you actually see him, like, yeah, he actually died from that. They had to resuscitate him.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they did resuscitate him though.
Yeah, he either died or he almost died, but whatever it was like literally it was way too far, and they didn't realize that it was a legit thing. And let me see if I can Google it. I think
Here's trouble.
Uh-oh. Yo, what?
Carrie.
It could be said Project Veritas is one of the few real journalists because they actually look and do. They don't just listen to what they're told to say.
I am not trouble. I just
That was-
have to always be around when trouble happens.
That was a bit of a delayed reaction. Even your reaction was late and gay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because I was focused on something else for a second. What's this about? Pfizer hanging himself?
Oh no, we're saying the guy who.
The guy who Veritas tricked into spilling the beans on camera likely doesn't work for Pfizer anymore, and we would not be surprised to find out down the road that he is unalived.
Okay,
Yeah.
give me a second. I'm transferring to Bluetooth. I hope.
I don't believe that he is currently, but it wouldn't surprise me if he was found in some ditch or car somewhere down the road.
There we go. Okay,
Yeah.
no. Ryan was saying something about Brendan Fraser. Mummy
Yeah,
movie.
I'm reading it. It's been a while since I've read about the accident. So apparently, he had a harness on, but the problem is that the actual noose was not what was choking him. There was a hemp rope that was inside of it that it was actually what was choking. Right, to choke you in the arteries no matter what. So the stuntman took the tension on the rope and up on the balls of my feet, and then I guess he took the tension up again, and so yeah, he was getting strangled. Yeah, he says he certainly got more than he bargained for when he filmed the scene. Unfortunately, he was able to wake up and show those on set that he was okay. I regained consciousness, and one of the EMTs was saying my name. There was gravel in my ear, and and shit really hurt. The stunt coordinator came over and said, "Hi, welcome to the club, bro."
Okay,
Yeah.
so he's not dead. He just
No, he didn't. I guess he didn't die, but it cut off so much circulation that yeah, basically.
So
So
been like clinically dead for under 20 seconds or something.
So not only when you get hung, not only does it like put pressure on your airway, but it also cuts off like all your arteries and stuff like that. It was one reason, most of the time you lose consciousness before you actually suffocate to get. And that's if the drop, like when you drop first because your neck gets jerked, if your neck doesn't break, which they say there's a good amount of people who their necks don't break.
Yeah, it's not an exact science.
Yeah, it's not an exact science, and so yeah, you'll actually lose consciousness first, and then you'll suffocate to death because the arteries are. It's like we learned in the military where you do that and you can like choke somebody out and cut up the arteries off. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, even if the neck does break, that doesn't guarantee death.
No, it doesn't. So crazy shit.
Yeah, it has to break the correct way.
Yeah, hanging is one of those ways to die that is surprisingly horrific. It can take up to 6 hours for a man to die that way.
Jeez.
6 hours? How?
Yeah. If the circumstances are correct, yeah, he could hang there and just like choke for 6 hours, like maybe get enough air that he doesn't die right away. But
I think one of the most awful ways probably to die, other than like being burned to death, is being crucified. Because being
actual crucifixion, yeah, not the stuff that happened to Jesus. That was a special case, and they were making an example of him. Generally, when they crucified you, they didn't nail you to the thing; they just tied you up, and then they broke your femur so that all of your weight would be resting on the broken bones.
Yep, and it would slowly crush your diaphragm. Crush your diaphragm. You literally choked under your own weight because you
were baking in the sun and dehydrating.
It's some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
That's what the Legion did. Caesar's Legion.
Yeah. Seriously,
that was not a Romanization.
Is a pretty fucked up way to go. No, it wasn't, but it was implemented by the Romans for quite some time.
Yeah, it was. They were not the ones to invent that.
They found it very effective.
Oh yeah.
See, back then, the point of the death was to be torturous, painful, so that everybody else around you would think, I don't want to die that way. I'm going to not do the thing that makes my lords mad at me.
Well, it's also no different than lobbing somebody's head off in a public forum and then placing it on
it was very public, by the way. We need to bring that back. Right? We need to bring back torture as a method of execution.
We need to bring back restraint, shame, and self decency.
Yeah, part of me doesn't disagree with you. Carrie's gonna like this. So I did.
Disagree.
I did my 9th grade thesis on capital punishment and torture throughout the ages. They said I could pick any topic I liked. Didn't have to be one that they were going to enjoy. So, and during my research, I discovered a method that hasn't been used popularly in about 3,000 years, but it originated, Carrie, in Persia. And it was called the boats.
Brazen Bull?
No. But
I'm not familiar with this. Go ahead.
It's called the boats. Now, You take this like wooden structure, very much like a boat, right? Except that it's got these half circles cut at certain intervals in the edge of it, and you place a person in it, and each of those half circles is a place for there are 5 of them, one for each limb and a neck, and then you place an identical one over the top of that, and you lock it together, so you're basically effectively stuck in a box with your arms and legs and head sticking out, and then they force feed you milk and honey and smear it all over your face and leave you in the desert, so that while you were baking in the box, insects are eating you from the inside out.
Right.
Takes about 3
I
days.
vaguely recall hearing about this. I do vaguely recall hearing about this.
Yeah, there's also another method too, where they basically they tie you to a rock and they put a heavier rock on your chest, and then they slowly keep adding weight to it, so it slowly crushes your sternum and you die.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's a lovely one.
That's
They
called
killed one of the
something
Salem witch trials.
stone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one of the guys from the Salem witch trial
Giles.
died that way.
Mhm.
Something Giles. His case is a little unusual, and it's not technically a witch trial case. I'll stop spurging about that now. Sorry. Where were we? Yeah, I mean, we need to bring back torture in and of itself as the method of death. Now, I mean, I prefer the brazen or bronze bull. All right, and live stream it on YouTube. But I mean, we can negotiate. My cousin, he wants to bring back the blood eagle. My younger brother, what the
Blood
hell?
eagle's fucked up and brutal.
Well, the only
Well,
problem with bringing
yes.
back, I'll say this, the only problem with bringing back torture is this. You have to keep in mind who's in government. Us, given the state of our government, we'd be among the first people tortured and killed. This is what happens when you disobey the state. This is what happens
I
when you
will
don't wear
take
a mask.
some of them with me.
This is
I
what
will
happens
take
when
some
you
of them
don't
with
take
me.
it, when you disagree with a certain injection. This is what happens when you buy J.K. Rowling's book, video games, Hogwarts Legacy.
The funny thing about that is she's totally disowned the project. Yes, you can do this. I don't care. I'm not going to get anything from it.
The problem,
But it's hers.
No, she hasn't. No, she doesn't. She doesn't care. In fact, she's the one who got Mary Turfmas trending.
Oh, really? I don't even know what that is, but it sounds kind of fun.
It's a play on words designed to piss off trans activists.
And I saw what Boa said. Ultimately, no, you're not wrong. It was to get you to plead guilty to heresy, but the thing is, though, is that
No.
you would be basically, if you were charged with something, and even if you weren't guilty, and then they got you to admit that you were guilty, you were still killed.
Yeah.
So you were dead either way.
Boa
it's like, no, I didn't do it. Fuck you. And then, of course,
that was
and
the
there was
case.
one.
No. Boa is exactly correct. It was to get you to enter a plea. Guilty or not guilty, they didn't really care at this point. Just a plea.
Once they got their hands on you, you were dead.
Giles refused to enter a plea. He would not say he was guilty. He would not say he was not guilty. And that's why they put him to the stones.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah.
And then rather than just say yes or no, he kept saying more stones.
But yeah, because there was no right answer. You can say you're not guilty, and they're going to accuse you of being guilty, so they're going to add more weight until you say yes, I did it. And but if you agree, say yes, I'm guilty, then of course, they might they'll probably relieve. Yeah, dude.
No,
you're
I'm sorry. I thought I knew where you were going. Continue.
Oh, okay. No, I was just like, if you were called a witch, it's like, oh, well, if you're, we'll tie stones to your ankles, and it's like, well, if you sink, then you're guilty, and it's like, it's what, it just, it was.
Well, as far as that goes, as far as entering a guilty plea, yes, your family may live, but they will be shamed publicly. They will be ostracized. They may not be able to fend for themselves. They may end up starving to death because nobody will help them out. I mean, that's they were screwed either way.
I mean,
I
think
you pled guilty, you could be rehabilitated or whatever. But you had been a witch, and that was a social big thing. But you weren't necessarily killed each and every time. You had to repent and all the ands. It's
Yeah.
like pleading guilty to a felony today to avoid going to prison. You know, I'm going to plead guilty. Well, you're still a felon for the rest of your life. Okay.
I mean, yeah, in a sense, but at the same time, though, like if you were found, okay, so if you were accused of being a witch and stuff like that, that was like basically a dance with the devil. It was basically satanic, and pretty much that you
Yeah,
were rendered
yeah.
as being unfit. And the only way was to, if you were guilty or you were not guilty, was for them to kill you and let God sort it out. That was
Yeah.
their
This is why pagans don't advertise anymore.
Um,
No, I'm dead serious. This is exactly the reason that most pagans and most pagan faiths went underground.
yes.
You know, we don't
It's the
advertise.
reason why
Most of
all of
us,
them are.
like you always get your young kids who do all of their shopping at fucking Hot Topic and wear it on their sleeve and all that shit. But I mean that's not who we're talking about here. We're talking about real pagans. They don't talk about it. They don't wear their symbols out in public.
No.
They
No.
don't introduce. They don't walk up and make it part of their identity and proclaim it, because we remember what happened the last fucking time.
Well, because it's still very much frowned upon. Like look at Wiccans. They practice that. It's a religion, and they don't walk around and tell people, because it's like, well, I'm a Wiccan, and of course, like people are like, well, what does that mean? And most of the time they are levied as being a modern day witch, and so everybody hears witch and they say, well, what do you that satanic crap?
You know what's funny about that though is that in the pagan communities, Wiccans are also
Heard about
generally
that?
ostracized because they behave much in the same way that the Catholic fucking church does around
Mhm.
Protestants, saying it's our way or the highway. You're not doing it right. If you don't get our approval for something, then you don't count, kind of shit. Wiccans
That-
are every bit as bad as the Catholic fucking church, generally speaking.
It's
The
that.
organization.
And I hate to say it, it's that group mentality, and we see it even on Twitter. It's like, well, if you don't support pronouns in the bio, then you're a bigot, and you're this and that. And it's like, well, if you don't support every black person who gets wrongfully shot by the police, and it's like, okay, well, maybe I looked at the video and I saw that dude was fucked up, like he was higher than a fucking kite, and his heart gave out 4 hours later. Like, sorry, dude. Getting your ass kicked by the police was probably the least of that dude's worries, but it's like, if you don't immediately cry the racism, and so it's that mob mentality.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, human beings we are very susceptible to that. And in today's world it's very prevalent.
Right.
On the other hand, on the other hand, we aren't mob enough. I mean, I don't mean it in a bad way, in a good way. Don't get me wrong. But it's like this mob mentality means that they're like a force to be reckoned with, because they don't think. They just do what they're told. Okay, no asking questions. Whereas us, some of us will be like, yeah, well, I don't agree with that. Like, for example, me, I'm tired of the Eliza Blue thing. And I'm like, okay, I get why they're doing it, but I'm not like going to boycott or, because we all aren't one mind. When you have a group that's one mind, it's very hard to take them down.
Mhm.
But we're independent thinkers. We're stubborn, independent thinkers.
The funny thing is, the
that's
first
a good thing.
Shadow, you want to try spelling that one more time? Okay, you got it.
I tell you, he's typing with one hand because the other one's on his penis.
That's good. But yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, and a lot of people, when they talk about the kind of religious war on heresy that they and everybody in this country thinks about the Salem witch trials, that was actually a very short period of time, and it weren't nearly as many people killed there as they claim, and a lot of them weren't even what they were accused of. They were just people that their neighbors didn't get along with, or say some kid was like, that guy stole my my hat, so I'm gonna accuse him of being a fucking witch. I mean, it was like real petty shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But and most of those guys who were killed were actually devout Christians who were just accused of something they may not have done. The same thing happened during the Inquisition in Europe, which went on for a much longer period of time and had a massive body count. And it in that case, yeah, a lot of pagans did die, but again, so did a lot of people who were just accused of things that they may or may not have done. There was no such thing as a fair trial in those days, and the people running the courts were also the ones with their hands on the thumb screws.
Well, and it's the kind of the irony in that
It's
too
a
is
shame we don't have a historian here.
There are some things about history that I do know. Thank you.
Well,
that was not it.
A little bit like World War II. Just because a 19-year-old kid was wearing a uniform didn't make him a Nazi. Like that was kind of like the elites of our society. The Nazis were the elites of their society. You may have agreed with those things, and fine, that would probably easily take you further towards that label. But it's
sure
just
some of them did, but I'm also just sure that some of them were kids who wanted to serve their country, or were pressed into service.
Yes,
but there's no more nuance anymore because nuance is too hard. You have to look at it from somebody else's perspective, and it's easier to say, no, you're wrong, you're this. And I actually had a disagreement with Tugs from G&G today because she shared an article where Armie Hammer shared his side of the story. And Armie Hammer, the actor, the one who was like, I want to eat people and all that crap, and he tied his ex-girlfriends up.
Okay. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and she's like, she was the best way to put it is kind of simping for him. I don't understand. I guess it's like the guys that simp for Amber Heard, and she's like, see, it refutes everything they said. And I was like, okay, but if you read the article, because I did, and I watched the documentary. He admitted to being emotionally abusive, and she's like, well, that's not him raping them. I said, okay. I said, but he still admitted to emotional abuse, which is a form of domestic violence. So he admitted to multiple charges against multiple women. That's still illegal. And she disputed me on this, and she's like, well, that's not. She's like, he may be an a-hole, and he may be a jerk for ghosting people. And I was like, that's not what I'm talking about. He admitted to actual abusive behavior by state statutes.
Didn't admit to a crime.
He did admit to a crime.
Okay, show me the code section.
You can easily read it on under the guise of domestic
violence.
What
state are we talking about?
It happened in some in California, some in Arizona. I'm telling you, any form of emotional or physical abuse is against a lover or former lover is domestic violence. It's all about the intent.
Physical is, or
no, emotional is too.
Physical,
emotional is too.
It is not.
It is too.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So hypothetically. So hypothetically, if I decide to throw a vase across the room and smash it, and I didn't
see, that's a threat of violence.
I didn't.
That is a threat of violence.
I didn't threaten her, did I? How is throwing a vase across the room when she's on? No, it's not. It's the intent behind it. You're leaving intent out. It's also what makes things manslaughter versus murder. I don't know why you're arguing with me on this one.
Because you're wrong.
I'm not wrong. Somebody who is actually in law enforcement, I am not wrong.
Well, okay. Disturbing the peace, undermining or destroying a person's mental or emotional calm, we might have something there. Was
this state or municipality specific?
State.
Presents screen. Am I still here?
Yeah.
Okay. There.
Okay.
Okay. Where is the law office of Jacqueline Goodman based out of?
Okay.
That's a good question. Let's see if I can look that up.
from now, there's something here.
It says Fullerton,
It
California.
is mental and
Now
emotional.
you're not. Now you're
abuse.
roboting, Carrie.
You got to make an act or a state. Where is it? Where we are here, or is it a different something I can't
We're
see
only
from here?
catching part of what you're saying, man. It's kind of
Hold up.
fading in and out.
I mean, I see clearly where it says it is a mental and emotional abuse that prevents them from leaving the relationship and makes the
Okay.
trauma more lasting. It's literally what I just said.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
I don't.
no, but that's not something you can be arrested for.
Yes, it is. An act of domestic violence
Go
is
back to it.
it either a misdemeanor or a felony, depending on the state and the circumstances.
Yeah, I suppose that would depend on the state. Like there, Colorado, for example.
Well,
has some
Like
clear-
Colorado, it's a misdemeanor. Colorado, it's a misdemeanor. Florida, it's a misdemeanor. But some states, it's actually a felony. Like I looked up Arizona, and there is a way to upgrade it to a felony. I mean, I know this is not what we wanted to talk about, but it's like,
all right. Coercive control as a behavior pattern that interferes with the victim's free will and personal liberty, either in purpose or in effect. That's still the threat of violence coming along.
is that not considered emotional abuse? Threatening someone with violence? What is your intent? What is your intent behind
your
it?
wife.
Zalej says, so if I threw something out of anger in Arizona, I'd be arrested. They would ask you what your intent is. And if you say, well, my intent was to scare them so they wouldn't leave, then yes, you'd be arrested and charged.
That's
and again, depends on the cop, depends on the state. They may arrest you anyway, they may not.
There's some states that it doesn't matter if there's a call and domestic violence has been reported, somebody's got to go to jail. I don't like that rule. I don't like that one. I think that goes too far. But there are cases where sometimes it's done because, and then where they eventually arrest both parties because as Alleged says, what if you slammed a door? What was the intent behind it? Were you intending to trap them within the house and block them from leaving? Because then you could also be talking about the possibility of not kidnapping,
what against their will, something like
that. Basically holding somebody against their will.
Yeah, and this is you also are getting into some he said, she said, and basically whoever's more convincing.
It's all about the intent. And so when he admits in an article, yes, I was emotionally abusive to them, it's like going, okay, well, there is a certain standard for emotional abuse that crosses the line into domestic violence. And it is your intent based on what you were doing and why you were doing it. It is all about your intent. It's no different than murder and manslaughter. If I don't mean to kill somebody, then they're gonna try me for manslaughter. But if I decide to mow down a group of people with my car on the side of the road, then it's going to be vehicular homicide.
Yep.
If you slide the car out of control because you're doing donuts and all of a sudden you run over 15 people, that's manslaughter.
And according to my,
or if you just drive through a freaking parade, like that wasn't.
All right. I'm off the police officer soapbox.
Can you hear me at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you now. I'm gonna. Are we done with this?
Yes, I have to use the bathroom, so we're done.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna pull it down. Oh, Cat's like, I'm gonna take a nap while you guys measuring your dicks.
Yes,
I might be playing video games.
Yeah, well, just because he's not in here to bitch about it. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah,
I don't know. He's usually
really
very
bad.
Fast. You had been, yeah. Like we were catching. maybe 2/3 of what you were saying.
I know it was me because all three of you were roboting at the same time. Oh, okay, and they're not all messing up at the same time. That's not the way it works. But I mean, you have to do something to make the other party think you mean them physical harm.
These days, though,
Um,
in this country, as things are, really, do you have to actually make them think that, or do they just have to, like, vaguely feel it?
Well,
This country,
okay.
you could give somebody the wrong pronouns and they'd be like, "You mean me harm? You called me."
In Canada, you absolutely can be arrested
Yeah,
for
no,
that.
in Canada, yeah.
You actually can be, but this, a complaint of pain does qualify as an injury. My wife slapped me, which that did happen, but I didn't say anything about that at the time. And I'm
This kind of
sitting there
stuff
rubbing my.
happens in courts all the time, though. Like they just say shit that isn't true.
I'm sitting there rubbing my face, and the cop says, "What's going on?" Oh, she slapped me. Well, okay, now my wife's going to jail. Or my face. I hurt my face. That qualifies as injury under the law. I remember I got special training on this when I was in the Guard.
Sorry, Kara. I wasn't
because
trying
we had to know when to arrest for that.
I hope I wasn't coming off like an
Detain.
ass. Sorry.
Detain.
Yeah. Well, guys,
you know what?
it's
We'll
like,
talk about the
why does
ass
my
later.
ass hurt? You fell down the stairs last night. There are no stairs.
I love that movie so much.
I don't know what movie you're talking about, and I think I'm happier that way.
It's the whole 10 yards with Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis and Matthew Perry, who played Chandler in Friends. So you have like sarcasm with like I guess we say like witty sarcasm compared to like dry sarcasm. They play like the opposites of each other. It's so funny.
Yeah, this was before Bruce Willis had started to kind of wane on the quality front in terms of the movies he was putting out. Not so much that the
there's
movies
an explanation
themselves were bad,
for that,
but he just. Oh, I know there's. I'm not blaming him for it. I'm just saying that this was before that point where it was noticeable the decline in his performance.
Yeah.
So, no, again not blaming him for it. It just shit happens, and now he's locked into some shitty contracts that he can't get out of, and he's making fucking 15 shit straight to the streaming movies every year now, whether he wants to or not.
Oh, he's not going to be making a whole hell of a lot of movies at this point.
Oh, I think that's a form of abuse.
Fuck Andrew Tate.
Yeah, fuck Andrew Tate, because Bruce Willis has such a medical condition. His family's making him do it. Like he literally has a neurological disorder. So now we're talking about like the mistreatment of somebody who literally needs to be in like fucking constant care. Like it's what they did to Stan Lee.
He's getting there.
They had
Shadow. This is true. That the believe all women thing is a little out of hand, but we weren't talking about Andrew Tate. Why would you bring him up?
Hey,
he mentioned it offhand, and I reacted to it.
Look,
so that was my fault, not his.
Did anybody see what was going on with Tim Pool today?
I'm done with that.
Him going on the block spree with the quartering and all that. Yeah, I saw some of that, but I honestly didn't pay that much attention because I don't really care about Tim Pool.
Honestly,
I don't know.
I haven't watched anything by Tim Pool in 6 months now.
No, I watched Tim Pool. I actually do like Tim Pool because one of the good things about Tim Pool is when I share his videos with my family, who a lot of them are not conservative, they can't accuse me of being like, oh, well, you only share Fox News or something like that. It's like Tim Pool is not Republican, so they can't be like, you just listen to Republicans.
He's not.
And
no,
Tim Pool is not. So when I share Tim Pool,
he's a liberal.
Yeah, nobody who I share it with can say, "Oh, you're only sharing Republicans. You're only listening to Republicans." No, he brings some great guests. Matt Gaetz was a really good one. I honestly can't
I used to watch Timcast IRL all the time.
Same, I still do. I can't blame him though. I mean, I didn't notice this because I usually watch Timcast IRL the day after, not when it's live. That people are sending super chats demanding he talk about Eliza Blue, and this is Tim Pool. He didn't talk about Jack Murphy. Haven't figured it out yet. He doesn't like I watched the Quarterings video. He does not like to get involved in YouTube drama. He does not like to attack other channels. He's not going to do it. So I think he got tired of the Quartering and Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers and everyone going on about how he needs to talk about Eliza Blue. And so
Well,
They said the same thing when Jack
What-
Murphy, when
what
the Jack
did he
Murphy thing
say?
happened too. He
the-
didn't. He hadn't said anything.
yeah, he
the-
just blocked, but
the problem is he hasn't said anything. So you had this woman on your platform. Now I'm not saying that's his fault, right? Like Tim Pool's gonna have like you can't expect to have like do like an in-depth background check like the government's
Right.
gonna do. if
He's
you're gonna
not.
join
He's
the
not
Secret Service.
responsible for the activities of his guests. He's not.
But
Yeah.
he could also say, hey, we had her on the channel. She was talking about a good cause. I think we had a good conversation. He's like, I don't know what's going on with this situation. I see people being locked out of their accounts. If her or some of her followers have anything to do with that, that's not a good thing either, because that's censoring free speech. And you could probably just leave it at that and say, you know what? I hope all parties can come out of this better than you know, or overcome whatever. You can put out a general statement where people say, okay, well, he fucking addressed it.
You know,
know,
I feel like an idiot. I still really do not know what this whole Eliza Blue thing is, and I kind of feel good for it because I don't care at this point. I don't want to hear about it.
The
Long-
reason, the reason that we care about it is not because of Eliza Blue herself, although she, you know, frankly, is somebody that I could have gone my whole fucking life without knowing about. It's because what is happening around her, the shitstorm that is happening, isn't just affecting her; it's affecting a lot of people.
Mhm.
no, I care
Okay,
because it's
well-
clear she's an insider who's involved in who's trying to normalize kitty stuff. She's one of the people on the inside who's trying
I
to.
almost scared out. Excuse me. I was drinking. I almost care.
That
Let
was
me
funny.
get into it. Like, let me find out some more later. Keep going.
Long story short, she's a clout goblin. That's Jeremy from the Quarterings name for her. That has basically made a name off of being a trafficking survivor and advocate. So look,
Okay. All right. I'm up to
Yeah.
speed now. I know who you're talking about now.
but yeah,
But we
but
talked about her last week, dude. You were here.
Yeah, and
You
we
know,
talked
because
about her
I don't
during-
care about her little life. I'll be honest. I mean,
his eyes
I'm gonna
glazed over. He's
forget
like,
the
oh
name.
fuck.
I'm going to forget her name by the end of this one too. Probably. Well, maybe
Yeah.
not now, but
No, trust
Now-
me, I
now
I
that-
feel you, dude.
now that Cat's shamed me into remembering,
Shamed you.
I didn't mean to
Hey.
say.
go with it. Go with it. It worked.
Shadow says
It
Eliza
worked.
Blue, Ryan's favorite toy. I
Wow,
have to
Try
be
saying
honest.
that to his face.
First of all, Shadow, it's called Blue Raspberry.
Yeah. Let's get the name right because
I'm not changing the name of my of my little gift there.
I call
just because
her
of this
blue
idiot.
cheese. I call her blue cheese because her
I'm
ass
not, hey,
looks like it.
I like blue cheese, real blue cheese.
Well,
Yeah,
you're
but if you
wrong.
looked at her ass, you would see the similarities.
It's very cottage cheesy, very pineapple.
Look! She got a nice rack on her. That's great, but she kind of frumpy. Other than that, I don't understand the short hair. Maybe if she had longer hair, she'd be more attractive. But she takes the whole blue, well, technically pink-haired land whale stuff with personality. Yeah, she's in her 40s too. And she was flashing her cooter all over fucking YouTube. I mean, literally like bending over where, you know, just a little bit of a breeze and you would see like lips or booty hole.
No, but is what Super Suka is saying true that she was with a 16-year-old?
There is some talk about that. I haven't verified it myself, but it does kind of look like that something like that was going on. Yeah.
Supposedly 17. She's been on all sorts of reality television. She was on Blind Date. She was basically selling her website from a cam site that's now
Wasn't
defunct.
she on Montel Williams too at some point?
That I don't know. I have not seen that. You know, so her story doesn't line up. So most survivors talk about their story and about what happened, right?
Yeah.
Because they want to try to open up so other victims of child trafficking or predatory nature will feel comfortable with telling their story. The problem is that when anybody asks about what happened to her, she's like, well, I don't want to talk about that. I've told you I don't want to talk about it. She gets very defensive, like that. And she gets very very abrasive.
Really?
And very combative. Yes, very combative. And she was on one podcast where they kind of brought up, and she's like, well, I thought we were here to talk about this. And she's like, oh, I didn't agree to talk about my past. And it's like, well, I was talking with one person. They said that you would be perfect to bring on and talk about your past and how you're trafficking. She's like, well, then I'm going to take that up with them because they shouldn't have said that. And it's like, somebody was saying that, you like, really? Like, guess what? If a priest touch your pee-pee when you're 9 years old, eventually, you might want to talk about it. And so you can say, hey, maybe let's not have priests touching 9-year-old boys' pee-pees. Like, that's not a hard take.
Boys or girls or other.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just,
or other.
I think we covered quite a bit of that last night too. It's real simple, guys. If you do something that you are not particularly proud of and you put it out there into the world and it comes back later on when you've changed your image or moved on with your life or done something else, and this is a problem, best thing you can possibly do, number one, don't address it. If you feed into the trolls, they will keep coming. That's a fact. Number two, just own it. Be like, yo, I did this thing. I'm not doing that thing anymore. And move the fuck on. And that was the mistake that both Eliza Blue and Jack Murphy made, is that they went to war over it.
All you have to do is say, hey, I was a sex worker, or hey, I'm a former druggie, or hey, I'm a former alcoholic. Like, you got to own your shit, because people like a redemption story. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why people like to watch those kind of movies and television shows. Somebody's like literally fucking digging through a dumpster to find food, and then all of a sudden they get their life back in order, and then all of a sudden they get to start seeing their son again because they're proved to their ex-wife that they can be a responsible adult and be a father. And it's like, come on, man. It's not hard. They make movies off this crap, but it's against her image, because people are going to go, you said you're
and the more you fight it and the more you deny it and the more you come down on people for even bringing it up, like she has been doing, you get what Bo was saying here, the Streisand effect. The more people are going to look into it and bring it up. Like, this was entirely preventable on her end.
All she had to do was post a freaking screenshot and be like, yeah, that was me bending over and you can almost see my booty hole. Like, I was not in the right mind. I shouldn't have did that. Like, I regret that. I want to make things right, because, it's, we don't have to talk about that.
Adult movie of me out there. It was supposed to be a home movie. It was just me and my girlfriend, but it got out.
What man in his life hasn't sent a fucking dick pic? Like,
I've sent dozens of them. That's not the same thing.
I've only sent one dick pic once ever in my whole entire life, and I was literally 20 years old.
I don't believe you.
No, swear to God. swear to God. I was 20 years old because dick pics were getting big then with the text messaging and crap. And ever since then, it's like, no, I don't want to send that kind of crap. And I've never had a girlfriend ask for it.
Okay. I believe you when you say you've never had a girlfriend ask for it. That part I believe.
Well, yeah, because I was giving it to him. Like, why do they need it?
I'm
sorry. I'm sorry, gentlemen, but I'm going to call a spade here. The penis is not a very photogenic body part.
No,
all right?
No, he's right.
Women are incredible looking. They are beautiful. They got smooth skin. Men, we're rough. We're dirty. We're hairy. We don't live as long. It's just very different.
Yeah, that is true.
And you're not an NSA agent, so,
And they're trying to convince teenage girls that's what they want to be.
Wasn't it the FBI agents that got busted? Or was it the NSA agents that got busted for, like...
It was an NSA agent.
Hookers or something? Getting the hookers?
Okay.
Was he doing it on the government's dime?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That tracks.
There was a NSA.
I don't have a problem. If the NSA agent wants to go have like hookers or whatever, I don't care, as long as he's paying for it himself.
First of all, no. Second of all, no. And third of all, no, not exactly. She was busted with over 1 million dick pics that she had picked up on the clock that apparently were
cataloged
not
them?
work related. Yes.
Oh wow.
Oh shit! You
So
don't
that-
know what
that-
I'm talking
okay.
about.
Okay, so that was clearly somebody who was trying to set herself up. If she was cataloging and labeling
NSA.
them, then there was definitely probably some underhanded shit going on with that.
Kat, how many dick pics have you been sent?
None.
Pritchard.
All right.
Yeah, that's because she blocks everybody.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. You haven't been tainted by the internet yet.
Speaking of
Completely.
drive-by dicks, hey Richard. So no worries, man. No worries, man. Good to see you.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's not like a thing. You know, that's the thing though. It's like people. Yes, sometimes women get sent unsolicited dick pics. 90% of the time that happens, it's through an app.
Mhm.
It's through a dating app, and you know, most of the time when the dick pics are sent between two people, right? They've either been requested, or you're already seeing that person, or you know,
Yes.
what have you. It's not like, you know,
But they're requested.
it's not like dudes are generally, you know, just throwing their dick out there for all to see. And I imagine, Kat, probably the reason you haven't gotten any is because you haven't asked for them.
And I don't have any of those dating apps either. So
Yeah,
That's a good point. That's a good point.
yeah, and so you know, that's good. By the way, dicks come in a variety of sizes and shapes, and they're all ugly.
Yep. See you, Zeron. Have a good night.
Good night, Zeron.
Yeah. So it just look, we've all done dumbass crap, and you know, some of us a little bit worse than others, and you know, it's like, you know, fucking own up to it. Be like, hey, what happened? What I miss?
You didn't miss anything. I'm gonna show you guys something here as soon as I get it sent to the right thing. Keep going.
I was just gonna say we've all done dumbass crap. It's just better to say, hey, I did that and it was fucking stupid, and I'm trying to be better. I'm trying, you know, so
Yeah, and that's all that any of these guys who were in these major scandals, it's all they ever had to say. It was just like, look, I fucked up when I was younger. I've moved on. So should you.
Yeah, it's like the whole Joe Rogan thing. Like, I think Joe Rogan handled it pretty well when he got called out for saying the N-word in like, I guess, what is it, a music video or what he was telling a joke or something. Anyway, but yeah, people are like, oh my god, Joe Rogan says the N-word, and it's like, yeah, because you know what, back then people weren't offended.
Use that word a lot.
Crap.
yeah, I was gonna say nobody.
So it's like people weren't offended by that stupid crap like the way they are now. So I think he handled it pretty well. He still gave a somewhat of an apology, but he also didn't back down though too. So which is good, because when you grovel to the mob, they just want more blood.
Mm.
And it's never enough blood. You know, so it's like you're best just saying, yeah, I did that. It sucks. I wish I wouldn't have did that, but that's not who I am anymore, and I'm moving forward. So y'all can too, you know, go about your business.
That is, in fact.
I'm sorry, I
So-
can't find it now.
Kat's never received a dick pic, and unfortunately, Kohai just changed.
Never
that.
asked for one. And
I know my first dick pic.
Nice.
I'm just gonna randomly DM her a pic of a random penis off the internet. like,
You know,
look,
our buddy,
I don't think that's a good idea there, Ryan.
He has
You know,
a
I-
full catalog
real
of
bad
Richard
idea.
Nixon photos.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. I think that's like super disrespectful. I have some cats that I have to kick the shit out of right now because they're knocking shit over.
You
Well,
go
that
punish
was your first
pussy,
mistake.
right? Nah.
You have cats.
I have
Yeah.
a cat.
Cats are assholes.
I have a singular cat.
See, you get a pass because you're Egyptian.
Yes,
But
it's
for the rest of us,
mandatory.
Well,
like anybody
okay,
who
okay,
keeps
okay.
cats is like a lunatic, you know, because all that cat is doing is waiting until you keel over so they can eat your eyes.
Well,
Maybe.
I don't think I've never heard that, but
That's the first thing they eat, dude.
really?
Yeah.
You're gonna go with that? That's your story? You're sticking to it?
Yeah, I am. I hate cats so much.
Not
They
as much
actually
as I
said
do.
you're
And
They also said
willing to
dogs
go
will
there.
do the same too. They said that dogs, if they start to get hungry, because
Yes,
if you let
dogs, if they start to get hungry, will do it. Cats will do it because it's because they're dicks.
nah, they also if they get hungry, they start to get confused. In fact, I think they said dogs are more likely because dogs will nip at you if you're not moving on the ground, and then the blood will spill, and then they will go at it. Whereas cats are more likely to ignore you for a while, and then when they start to get hungry, they might eventually reluctantly start to. I remember reading an article about it.
Yeah, they lied about the reluctance. There's no reluctance there. They're just that cats sit around and they wait and they wait and they wait and they're like, sooner or later this guy's gonna drop dead. It's a good thing that they have shorter lifespans than we do. Is all I'm saying.
Talking about the fact that animals eat us after we die.
Yeah.
Yeah, dogs do too.
Oh, I know they do, but dogs won't do it because they
Yes.
want, because they'll do it because they're starving, because they're hungry, because nobody's been by to fed them. Whereas cats will do it to show you who's fucking boss.
No,
Well, both animals will end up eating you a couple of days
Yeah.
after you're dead.
No.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
no,
It's just their instinct. They don't recognize you as
Yeah.
who you once were. They now recognize you as basically, a source of food. That's it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yo,
it's-
chat,
it's-
you see all the pussy enthusiasts making excuses for the little devils now?
no, they are. They're fucking jerks. I admit they're jerks.
No, but
But-
the thing is also no. I watched this guy. It's this guy who's known as a great, well-known cat behavioralist, Jackson Galaxy, and one of the key things he's always teaching people is cats are not bad. They respond to how you treat them, and he's had massive success with people who will contact him and be like, "My cat is a pain in the butt. My cat is misbehaving. I don't know what to do." He will come in and he will look at the circumstances and see what are you doing wrong to get the cat to respond back to you. Cats are not nasty by nature. They just respond to how you treat them. So like I remember one where they were like the cat is peeing all over the floor and not using their litter box. And he's like, it's simple. It's because you have one of those roller litter boxes, those mechanical ones that roll. He's like, that's disgusting. The cat's going into their litter box, the entire thing smells like poop. It's like that's why the cat doesn't want to use the litter box. So most of the time, so he's like, there is no such thing as a bad cat. There's a cat responding to how you behave. Cats aren't.
I have
Indeed.
never found a good cat.
Chew
Ever
on
in
this
my
for a
life.
second. Chew on this for a second. What if the cats are lying to you?
That would require a lot of intelligence that I'm pretty sure the cats don't have.
They do.
Your people used to
yes,
think they
they're
were gods.
Wow.
Yes!
Wow, the you people. Whoa.
I said
Holy-
Yeah,
your.
there's a reason.
No,
There's a
that's
hard
still you-
R.
That's still you people.
Yeah,
Hey,
wow.
let her take offense for herself.
I-
You taking offense
every-
on her behalf is very rude and disrespectful.
I'm
Ryan,
just
the wine
doing what
mama
Twitter
bear.
does.
Take
Yeah, he's
offense
doing what-
for a cat.
No. Well, there's a reason why we're now Muslims.
It's because the cats lied.
Celeste, go high. They're all
She's got a point there, though. The cats did lie.
Celeste, you people. Whoa. What do you mean, you people?
Yeah.
No, my cats aren't jerks. So I got the little one because my adult cat, who's probably about a year away from being a senior, he just, I could tell he's like depressed and shit. He was like, you know how sometimes animals eat shit off the ground, like because they're stressed. And ever since I got the little one, like, yeah, she pissed him the hell off for like the first week, but now, like, I can tell that he's like a completely different animal. Like, he's actually active as even though he's pushing the age of 9, and he was jumping up on the.
Young. My Buster's 12.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, is that as soon as they crest that 9 to 10-year-old threshold, they're considered senior citizens.
Yeah, I
Like,
know.
so it's like that's just the way it is. So yeah, no, he was I could tell he's much happier. But yeah, also at the same time, he's a lot more active than he used to be, which is good too, because you know what? Fucking old people, get off your ass and go run. Goes for animals too. Exercise them glutes.
Yeah, so they're nice and tender for when the cat eats them.
Hey, you know what? If I'm fucking dead, I don't care. I'm
Mm.
just gonna be thrown in a goddamn box. There's gonna be a fucking 21 gun salute. They'll hand my fucking flag off, and it's like I'll go into the ground. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like what do I fuck care? I don't have any more problems. Like it's the death part that I don't want to deal with. It's like it's like because heart disease runs in my family. I'm like, am I gonna have a fucking heart attack or a stroke? Because that sounds awful. I'd rather just fucking die in my sleep at old age.
Well, I'm hoping Buster falls asleep on top of my head, and that we both go at the same time.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
You mean like across your breathing passages?
Yeah, we both go at the same time. She goes right on top of me, and I go with her.
She
Well.
goes right on top of me.
Yeah, moving on.
Well, I mean, there's always the nuke possibility. Keep in mind, we're living in Biden's paradise.
That is true. Although, I mean, at this point, right? Like I know they've been talking. There's a lot of talk about nukes deploying and stuff like that, but it's looking more and more with this invasion of the airspace kind of thing. It's looking more and more like we might be seeing down the road more of a Red Dawn scenario than a Fallout scenario.
Well, see, and this is kind of the way I look at that.
Porque no las dos.
What? Is that a reference I don't get? Maybe.
No,
Porque no las dos.
I
Why
don't
not
speak
both?
Spanish. Oh, okay.
It's
Well, the Red Dawn scenario is
Taco
extremely.
Shell commercial.
Yo got Taco Bell. Unsolicited dick pic. They're very nice. Yeah, I saw that in the chat earlier. I think the Red Dawn scenario is very unlikely because there's so many damn guns in the United States owned by private citizens that even if the military completely collapses, China.
Certainly, that's what's been preventing that kind of scenario up to this point. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, it would be more likely that China would want to take the fallout route because then you'd be taking out dangerous civilians and military personnel all at the same time.
So they'd take
That's not going to change things any.
Well, I mean, Alaska's only about 30 miles. The tip of Alaska is only about 30 miles from Russia.
Mm-hmm.
It's an easy fucking cross point.
Yeah, and it's
super easy.
Mostly empty territory because it's huge.
Yeah. So I mean, Alaska is literally the last frontier, in my opinion, but it's not impossible.
Shadow, you do realize that you probably would be one of the ones who didn't make it into a vault, right? You're never going to see that power armor.
Yeah, no, you don't.
And second of all, none of you are talking about Fallout. You're talking about Fake Out. So let's move on to the next subject.
That's an opinion.
That is a statement of fact.
Well,
what is this Fake Out thing?
Oh, anything that was made by Bethesda doesn't count, according to Carrie.
No, well, I just want to know this. Wait. I just want to say this, okay? We need to look into Biden's donors because I'm pretty sure Bethesda must have been a big Biden donor, and now they're like, we want to make a live action, real like the Fallout. The next Fallout is going to be reality Fallout because they donated a garbage ton of money to Joe Biden to make Fallout real.
Yeah, well, and it's. I wouldn't be surprised if something similar to that scenario did in fact occur down the road. It would not be the first time that a piece of fiction has predicted something to come later. RoboCop basically predicted the fate of Detroit, for example.
No. RoboCop. The people writing RoboCop were watching what was already happening, and they're like, "Yeah, it's pretty obvious. You got to
right." But on the ground level, among the people of Detroit, they didn't see it coming yet. That didn't hit them really until about 1993, when they started closing the factories.
Yeah.
Now, there was also there was a book by a guy named Max Brooks, who is supposedly the illegitimate son of Mel Brooks, called World War Z. Outside of wedlock, yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
I mean, he recognizes that he's
That's
his son,
corrected.
but yeah. Anyway, so he wrote this book called World War Z. Now, World War Z was about the governments of the world and their response to a pandemic that starts in China and spreads and kills so many people. Except in this case, it's not the one that we just dealt with. It was a zombie plague.
Yeah, I read the book actually.
It's very good. It's very good,
Yeah.
and at parts it's extraordinarily chilling because it comes from the Carrie. I'm gonna mute you while you're playing with your toy. It comes from the perspectives of people who lived through it, because the book is written 10 years after like World War Z officially, and it's about a guy who goes around collecting the stories from people all around the world and how they responded. And the scary shit is that the way that the governments responded is eerily similar to the ways that the governments responded to COVID.
Oh, of course.
Like
Absolutely.
it's spot fucking on. And he wrote this book about 15 years before that.
Well, it's because in that kind of a scenario, it's us that are the citizens that are dangerous.
Yeah. And
So I mean, because we outnumber those ass clowns.
well, and
Yeah.
one of the reasons that the US ends up being, relatively okay. I mean, everybody who is in the cities is fucked. But the US survives, and part of the reason for that is because the populace is extremely armed.
Mm-hmm. Well,
China
and
wasn't so lucky.
it's also one of the reasons that I'm so done with the city life, not just because of like if something like really bad happens, but it's an awful place to live. I'm moving back to Colorado because I like the remoteness. Like I don't like living on fucking top of 57. I don't know how many
Dude,
people live in this community,
but
it's like,
I
Jesus.
I don't know how I would be able to. I left Colorado because of the commies.
Yeah, I know, but where I grew up which is where I'm going back to is not like commie. They weren't down with the whole COOF restrictions, like even when like there was a state mandate, like only like a partial amount of people. I would love to move to South Dakota. But I'm moving back to Colorado for now because I want to move closer to family because all my family's in Arizona or Colorado. And I'm the only weirdo that lives in Florida, which I love Florida. I love the way it's run. But you know what? Sometimes you just got to bite the bullet.
Let me ask you a question that's got nothing to do with like this kind of thing, just in terms of climate, right? So you grew up in Colorado, right?
Mm-hmm.
Front range, high altitude on the plains.
Yeah.
So somewhere there. But yeah, you basically you grew up high altitude where it's drier and all that shit. How the hell did you adjust to the climate in Florida?
I haven't, if that's the perfect answer, because the heat and humidity basically is murder in the summertime, and I fucking hate it. I like the environment of Florida. I like the fact that there's a lot of stuff to do in the surrounding cities and stuff like that, but it's not the same. Like, when it's just not the same. There's really no seasons. It's just either it's hot or it's really hot for the most part. Like last night, it got down to like, I don't know, 54 degrees. And I was like, oh, open the windows. This is great. Then of course, back to today, it was back up in like the high 70s, almost 80. And it's like with that humidity factor, it feels like it's in the high 80s. So it's like you don't get a rest.
Well, because the whole peninsula is wet. So there's constant humidity everywhere, right? See, me, I'm high altitude. I've been high altitude my entire fucking life. Where I live now is higher than most of the populated places in Colorado. And just strictly speaking, and so whenever I get to lower altitudes, the air gets almost too thick to breathe. It kind of feels like it's just like walking through soup. And the more wet it gets, it feels like I'm fucking drowning. I can't deal with it.
Yeah, no, my dad who had two minor heart attacks, unfortunately due to poor health decisions. Not just that, but that was part of it. When he comes down here, at times it feels like he's kind of trying to breathe in soup. It's not terrible. It's gotten better, because the further away from those incidents he's gotten. But I wanted to address something real quick. Super said, I still see people wearing masks. Yeah, no, you definitely still see people wearing masks. You're probably closer to an urban area like Colorado Springs or Denver, or even Boulder. Boulder's like super psycho liberal. I know it was probably the worst when I used to live there over a decade ago. Denver's really bad now because a lot of the Californians moved to Denver. And Zalej says, "Isn't Montana close?" Yes, my ideal place to live would be Montana.
I mean, close is relative out here. All the states are huge.
Yeah, well, my ideal place to live would be Montana, to have like, you know, have a few acres and stuff like that, maybe 20 acres, and kind of just, you know,
Yeah.
just settle there, and that's it. You know, that's the goal of the YouTube dream, is that hopefully one day I'm making enough money.
Hopefully there will be land left for you to do so. Most of the land in Montana, Wyoming, and the Dakotas is owned outright by the federal government.
Yeah, no, it is. But you know, you can find pretty decent spreads of land still. I've even kind of poked around and looked, so it's not like I'm going in blind. But yeah. So anyway, I didn't see what Shadow said. When Ryan gets to Colorado, he and Samuel need to meet up and stream. We could do that. It's just Samuel doesn't show his face, so it's like, how would you know?
Where'd Carrie go?
Oh no, I don't know. He just dropped out. I didn't hear his background noise.
Oh, I don't know. I muted him for a second and then I put it back on, and I don't know. I guess he thought I muted him the whole time.
Maybe I don't know, or maybe he just had an internet problem, dropped out.
He could have. He was having some issues earlier too. That's probably likely what it is. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the meetup stuff. There was some talk of a Pride meetup at some point too, and honestly, guys, like, I might help set something like that up, but I don't know if I would show up unless all of you are willing to sign NDAs about my face.
And I would probably call it something else.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
I don't-
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, a
I don't-
Pride meetup?
I don't
Lions
think
Pride. Lions Pride.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
probably
actually,
call
you
it
might
that.
want to change the name.
It's what Amira calls her subs, the Pride.
Which that's fine because there's context there, but at the same time, it's like, you know, we're gonna do a Pride meetup. Hey guys.
Yeah, but
Okay.
to be fair, she's laid claim to that before the entire fucking month of June exploded in rainbows.
It doesn't fucking matter. It's been taken by the weirdos. Once it's taken by the weirdos, it's hard to wrestle that shit back.
Yeah, Suka already did that.
Samuel face reveal, but at the Pride meetup, it'd be Samuel assless chaps reveal. It's like,
You
hey
know,
guys.
You gotta have
Here.
room for all the tentacles to wiggle.
Yeah. Well, you know, you could just say that you're a member of the LGBTQ community, and then of course you would be safe to show your face. It's not like you would get in trouble with your job.
Gender queer, whatever
I
the
am.
hell that is.
What's yours? Is it the assless chaps? That's yours? You can have
Me?
it. No, I was
Me?
talking to Shadow. He says that's mine.
Oh, assless chaps. Nice.
Zillage, I'm gonna say the same thing to you that I said to Shadow. We don't all know each other. Racist.
Wow.
Not all interdimensional entities have any. I've never met Mahler, for example.
Whoa.
I have interacted a little bit with Horror Amarata though at this point, but not a lot.
I just saw somebody tweet on Twitter, Donald Trump has been arrested.
For what?
No fucking way. There's no way.
Oh, there is no way.
I don't know.
The country will go into a fit.
You gonna bring that up on screen?
I would rather clarify it first before I don't see anything in the news yet. Let me dive into Twitter. It's just one account, and he might be trolling because he doesn't like troll anything like bad, but
Yeah, there's all kinds of shit happening on Twitter like right now. Aside from that, and it wouldn't be the first time somebody's claimed that he was going to be arrested or was being arrested, and it turned out not to be true.
yeah, it was literally like oh yeah, see, it's satire.
Okay.
Yeah, it's satire. He's making fun of some doofuses on the other side who are celebrating that. Yeah.
So
There's fucking Larry. You pussy.
It was just clarifying for the thing.
Yeah, no, it's nothing but a fucking he's trolling the idiots out there, you know, like fucking Rob Reiner, who fucking calls for Donald Trump's arrest every day.
Yeah. I see Not Flash has posted a picture of Tim Pool with the Murphy beard.
Yeah, that one's pretty good. And he's bald too, which is great.
I see Dermy on there. He's like, sorry, but he's bald.
Yeah. They wanted to add the Eliza pink wig to him, and he's like, sorry, he's bald.
Yeah. Look,
Yeah.
as far as Tim Pool goes, like I'm gonna be a fence sitter on this. I don't care about him one way or the other. I don't care what he comes out in defense. I do kind of have an issue with the fact that he gets super chats that he does not read because he doesn't want to talk about the subject.
Yeah,
Because,
I don't like that.
but that has more to do with the business side of things than anything else. Like somebody pays you, if somebody gives you super chats, you fucking read them.
Yeah, and you read fucking all
You
of them. I don't care.
you don't have to address what's said, but you read what they sent.
Yeah, and all you have to do is like, okay, somebody says like, well, why aren't you talking about the Eliza Blue stuff? Be like, you know what? We're not covering that right now. We're looking further into it. We have a reporter, which apparently they do.
Heard. They had a report looking into this whole thing.
Yeah, it'd be like, we have a reporter looking into it. They're going to write an article. We'll release the article. You guys can read it then. Other than that, we're not going to clarify any more than that. That's fine. I have no problem with that. But he ignores it because he doesn't even want like the headache. It's like, motherfucker, people are giving you money.
Yeah, and Zilich, he did the same thing with the Jack Murphy thing because like it's been stated before by other YouTubers, Tim Pool's chat is fucking brutal.
Yeah,
they are savage as hell.
And quite frankly, I don't like the fact that he only reads like $100 super chats, and like that's like it. He doesn't like read the $50 ones or 20 or 10. Like he reads a handful of like
I don't think he even sees the $2 ones.
No, I don't think he does either. And that would piss me the fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's because it's like, hey, dude, you know, if it's my stream, you know, and some people have like, you know, said, hey, you know, why do Az and Gary do like super chat catch ups? It's like, you know, because they've already streamed. It's after the fact, you know, we wanted kind of an answer then. It's like, okay, well, I mean, I understand that. You're talking about Gary and Az who stream for like 4 hours, you know, depending on the show, like Friday Night Tights, at least 4 hours. You're talking about, you know, you add on 2 hours of super chats, like you're going into 6 hour territory now.
Right. And I mean, that's
5 hour territory.
Flashcast does that every night because Flash wants to get through all of them. He doesn't like doing the catch up.
Yeah.
So he will read all of them. And sometimes I've seen him go up to 9 hours trying to get caught up, especially when Cecil comes in. But
because Cecil did. I mean, I love Cecil, but he just he gets drunk and he just
But you know, Tim Pool has a constant stream of super chats the entire show, and he only answers a handful of them on YouTube. I think they do an uncensored version on their website afterwards, where I think they do get to some more of them. But there's no way in the time period that he has that he can that it's even possible to cover all of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, and he also you have to pay for that too. Like once they go off the air after a certain time, you know, hour and a half, hour 45, 2 hours, like, you know, you have to be a subscriber to that to you know, pay extra to see the extra content. And you know, it came out recently that Tim Pool makes like $10 million a year. And it's like, okay, like if you're making that kind of fucking money, you could address them somehow. Like, you know, it's like, come on, man. Like you have a staff that lives in that giant compound. Like you can't have them like fire up the street.
Objectively, from a capitalist standpoint, that's a hell of a grift. I got no issue with that.
I don't either.
Is you know, from a viewer standpoint, is like these guys are giving you money to read their super chat. That's what a super chat is, right? Well, and if you're not reading a thing, I mean, do a catch up once a week. You know,
like if you donate you know, $5 to Tim Pool, like, you know, to state something, that's what it costs for eggs in some states even more. You know, you got some prices of eggs that are like $8. So you're talking about if somebody gives you a $10 super chat, motherfucker, you better read that shit. You're talking about the price of eggs.
Yeah, and you know, Yue brings up a great point here too. Is that it's not just Tim Pool and the people you see on the panel. He has actually a fairly extensive staff. You know, like they could be answering super chats. They don't even have to answer them like necessarily, you know, on screen. They could be doing some kind of like text catch up or something like that. But it's just something so long as the people know they're being addressed.
Yeah, and
you know?
the majority of them live there, like hippie weirdos. I mean, hey,
they call it a compound for a reason.
Yeah, look, that's the life they want to live. Hey, that's cool. But
I mean, I personally, I think that really it's Chicken City that's running the show.
yeah.
I mean, those chickens, they're devious little fuckers. They say that they've got these tiny little brains that don't really do much. I think that the chickens have fooled us all. And I think Tim Pool's chickens are running that whole compound.
Well, if you've ever seen fucking chickens fight, man, they're fucking mean.
Oh yeah.
And they'll attack children. They'll attack small children thinking they can kill your child and eat it.
Well, that's why the roosters have spurs on their legs, right? It's for fighting.
Yeah.
That's why they're there.
Yeah. Chickens are mean. Birds are mean. Go fuck with a goose. That goose will fuck you up.
Yeah. So it is what it is. I just I don't actually particularly care. Hey, we got a new guest. Hey, Larry.
Oh, there he is.
So I don't have an issue with Tim Pool not wanting to talk about it, but I think that he should, deal with the super chats, and that's fine. He doesn't want to talk about it. He doesn't want to talk about it. I don't care. He can.
What's going on with Tim Pool? I've been in and out all day, and I come back on, and I'm seeing something about him blocking the quartering and some other nonsense going on
across all platforms. Yeah.
Yeah, all platforms like Facebook, everything. And he's
for what?
Eliza Blue.
Because it started with the fact that the courting was supposed to go on, I believe, Thursday of this last week, right? Or something in that time frame within the last week and a half. And he told Tim, he's like, hey, I can't make it. He gave Tim at least enough notice to say, hey, I can't get out there. I have another trip I have to deal with. So Tim had enough time to schedule another guest. Well, because Tim and Quartering share such a big audience, part of their shared audience was like, hey, Tim, why aren't you talking about the Eliza Blue thing? Why aren't you talking about the Eliza Blue thing? Super chatting him, and you could tell that Tim was getting kind of pissed off because he didn't want to address it, right? Much like the Jack Murphy crap.
If you don't want to address it, then don't run the kind of platform you're running.
Yeah, which and we were just talking about the fact it's like, dude, you don't have to stand in anybody's corner. You can just say, hey, we're looking into this. As soon as we know more, we'll let you guys know. Or you put out a general fucking statement that's easy to do. We had her on the show. We had a great conversation. We like what she's talking about, in the trafficking thing. But we don't know what's going on with this YouTube crap, this Twitter stuff. We don't have an opinion on that, or we don't have the knowledge to make a judgment. We hope everything works out for everybody. How hard is that? Right?
Not hard at all.
And so that's the problem. So he blasted the quartering on Twitter saying, well, we had the quartering scheduled like a month ago, and he flaked on us. And the quartering said, yeah, he's like, I got busy with stuff, but he's like, I let you know I couldn't make it. You have guests that cancel all the time. He's like, I kind of feel like you're blasting me, dude. And he's like, you didn't bring me on to talk about the Eliza Blue stuff for our conversation, because a month ago it wasn't happening. It's only been happening for like the last 2 weeks.
Right.
So, and then Tim deleted the tweets because he got a lot of fucking backlash about it. Like, dude, what are you doing? People like, hey man, like, you're kind of wishy-washy in the story here. So he deleted them. The quartering made a video say, hey, Tim and I are good. I hold no ill will towards him. I'd love to go on a show again. I admit that I flaked. I had another trip coming up. I couldn't juggle both. And I tried to do my best to let him know. And then today just blocked on all platforms. And Jeremy tried to ask him a question. He's like, I couldn't even respond to a question he asked me just a day ago in DMs because he blocked me. So that was it. That's all we know.
That dude's tripping.
He's
tripping.
I think Tim Pool's a little bit of a douche canoe. I like the conversations that he has, but I was kind of done with him over the Jack Murphy stuff, and when he had Gary from Nerdrotic on, because he kept talking over Gary, and I was like, look, you brought Gary on to talk about certain politics and pop culture, and you're running over him. You're a political commentator, so stay in the political range. You can comment on what Gary says. Stop interrupting Gary when you thought that the fuck did he say? He thought like the Book of Boba Fett or something. I can't remember. He thought one of those trash ass Star Wars stories was good. And it's like, no, dude, because Yeah, Zalich, he brought Gary on, and he kept talking over Gary. Like it was super frustrating because people kept super chatting. Stop talking over Gary. Let Gary talk. Stop talking over him. And also the other guy who sounds like he's a little bit gay. Not the guy with the glasses and long hair, but the other one who kind of has a little bit of a gay lisp. He kept talking over him too, and I'm like, you guys are not pop culture commentators. Shut up. Gary is. Like, I don't. Ben Shapiro's not going to tell me why The Last Jedi is a bad movie. He can say it's a bad movie. That's great. But from your realm, you're not going to know that they basically destroyed these characters underhandedly, and they did it as kind of like a finger to the fans.
Yeah,
you're not going to.
they did.
So no, that's when I was done. That was it. I was done. Yeah, it's the anarchist guy. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, he did the same thing to Kanye West, didn't he? Isn't that why Kanye got up and walked out on him? And then he did a video talking about, oh, this is how we do things here, or something to that effect, and kind of
No, I think
stuck it to Kanye because of the way he walked out.
I didn't watch. I know there was a controversy around the Kanye West one. I think they started kind of Tim was tiptoeing around like some of the comments or something. And I don't think Kanye was talking about that. He was talking about something else, and they tried to steer the conversation towards some of the controversial things he said in a roundabout way. I mean, I don't know. That's all I know. So don't hold me to that. But he's notorious for talking over guests, and I can't stand that. I feel
part of the reason, like the whole dynamic of his show started changing when Adam Krigler was still on there. And because I mean, I don't know how far back you guys go. Kat, I assume that you've been watching Tim Pool for quite some time. So when Adam Krigler was
no, I wasn't there for Adam Krigler.
Okay, so before the 2020 election, Krigler was relatively uneducated in how the electoral process worked, and a lot of other things ancillary to that. And so as they kept going on, he wanted to be able to contribute more to the conversation rather than just asking stupid questions all the time. So he started doing his own research. And the more he researched, the more he formed his own opinions. And eventually it got to a point where he was disagreeing on air with Tim constantly.
Yeah, like every episode.
Stuff. And I'm not blaming either one of them for it. But long story short, it eventually ended up to him, where he left the show through circumstances that both of them have already talked about. Shortly after that, they got on Ian Crossland.
Yeah, Ian's the guy with the glasses. Sorry.
Yeah, and Ian, I don't have a problem with Ian personally. I don't like listening to him talk, and I think that was true for a lot of people who followed IRL, and that's right about the time I stopped watching him because I couldn't stand Ian.
Yeah, I sometimes can't stand Ian, honestly, but they bring some really interesting guests, and like I said, he brings a more, as I said, it's good to have someone to listen to someone who's not a Republican, so that, like I said, people will accuse me, because I also listen to Ben Shapiro and Dan Bongino, and those guys are definite Republicans.
Yeah. So, but I guess my biggest issue with Tim, I actually like the tidbits that he does in the mornings where he just spits out the news article or whatever.
It gets
and
so
then moves
long
on.
after a while, though.
Yeah,
Sometimes
but
he
used to do these like little 10-minute segments where he'd be like, this is the thing that I read, this is the evidence that backs it up, and I'm just going to lay it all out for you, and we'll see you in the next video. And that was it.
Yeah, now he monologues.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I kind of feel like Tim brings on guests to try to almost see if to almost like kind of try to match wits. It's gone from being a discussion to I'm more informed than you, so I'm going to talk over your points, and it gets like super frustrating. And as for Ian, look, I mean, the dude's a stoner. Like, what do you expect? Like, he's gonna have stoner takes.
Well, he's apparently one of the founding member of the Minds site, which a lot of people use as an alternative place to upload your shit and all that stuff. And when he talks about coding, he clearly knows what he's talking about.
Oh, absolutely.
He knows his shit there. It's just when he gets into other subjects, which he's clearly, and I don't hold this against him either, he's interested in everything. I have no problem with that. But he doesn't fully understand everything before he starts talking about it. which again, a lot of us could be accused of the same in some circumstances. I know I could, but I don't know. Something about the guy just rubs me the wrong way.
Well,
He's
he's
got
some-
that kind of stoner mentality. Yeah.
Well, he sometimes also just he goes on these really weird tangents, or it's
Yeah.
like at one point he was going on about how I don't like to use the word right or left. And it's like it doesn't fit the conversation at times, and it's just like, yeah, like I said,
Oh, I do.
Yeah, Shadow definitely does that a little bit. He,
I think that's true of everybody to a point. But
yeah, absolutely.
he what drove me away was every time he opened his mouth, regardless of what the topic was. It did not matter what the topic was. All he wanted to talk about was how the Federal Reserve is the downfall of Western civilization.
oh yeah, he keeps and graphene. He does not shut up about goddamn.
The graphene thing, I had already quit watching before he started talking about that shit. So, and as time went on, like Tim himself started to grate on me a little bit. He's got this self-assuredness and this that I don't believe is entirely earned. He does his research. He's very good at what he does. And he's built himself an empire, and I can't fault him there. And I don't have an issue with that. But he's got this kind of cockiness about him, an arrogance, if you will. And it comes across when he's talking to his guests, particularly like when you brought up Nerdrotic being a guest on that show.
Yeah, I'm literally sharing the link right now in the chat. So after this, you can watch it if you want to, because it super peeved me off how many times.
Oh, I watched it live.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I did too. But I know there were some people in the chat like, whoa, Gary was on. It's like, yeah, because Chrissy directed Tim to Gary because she's like, hey, this guy knows a shitload about pop culture. You should really have him on to discuss the state of pop culture and how it's being ruined by politics. And then they just kept steamrolling over him.
On top of that, since Tim Pool is always talking about how culture is bad and how he wants to influence pop culture, you'd think, yeah, Gary is somebody you'd want to talk to about it.
Tim Pool is like most of the political talking heads, especially the ones on the conservative side, just as guilty as everybody else of ignoring pop culture.
Mm-hmm.
And like look where we are. And I'm not blaming all of this on them, but if the more prominent talking heads had been on this from the beginning, it may not have gotten to where it was.
No.
It's mostly been people like Gary, people like us in the back, with limited reach talking about it. And some of us like, Gary, like Geeks and Gamers, like even Nina Infinity are starting to get the attention of people who can actually do something about this, but it's almost too little too late.
Yeah, we're on the edge of the cliff, and if we don't continue to push, because you still have these talking political heads who can't grasp the fact that, and I think even Daily Wire falls into that category a little bit. It's
Daily Wire's absolutely guilty of it.
Because they kind of stopped doing their whole entertainment stuff. Like what happened to Daily Wire Kids? What happened to making more movies?
Still working on the Daily Wire Kids. So no, let me just say this.
Possibly. They haven't released a movie since Terror on the Prairie, right?
That's true. No, Tim Pool, not Tim Pool, Ben Shapiro actually did do a review of The Last of Us, and he covered the same things that Chad did, which what he said was the whole thing about this. He's like, I've never played the video games. They need some more people who are involved in gaming. They definitely need more people involved in gaming, because Ben Shapiro's like, I think the only person there is
Andrew Klavan.
Klavan, yeah. I knew the name started with a K or a C. We need more people, because Ben Shapiro's like, because video games are for kids. And it's like, yeah, Ben, the majority of gamers are over 35, right? Your audience, a lot of them are gamers. And the Matt Walsh's take on anime, it was like, Matt Walsh, you're doing a lot of good.
I think Matt Walsh trolls half the time. I think he says shit just to get a rise out of Twitter, because some of the stuff he says, he knows he's going to get backlash for, and it's not something that's necessarily an important topic for him to get backlash on. Like the what is a woman thing, he knew he was going to get hit for that. But that happened. That needed to be said.
That was incredible.
When he said, I think anime is the devil's work, he was trying to piss people off, but it didn't actually mean anything. At least that's my take on it.
Yeah,
if he
I
actually believes it's the devil's work, then well, he's an idiot. But
I don't.
No, but Ben Shapiro's talk. Let me just say about The Last of Us Part 3, Episode 3 was valid. He watched it. He's like, I don't play video games. I don't know the game, but he made the same points that people who played the video game are. It's like it distracts. It goes off topic. It doesn't fit. You know, and so it was good to see him do that. He still does reviews of movies and stuff.
Yeah. And I like his takes on watching videos on TikTok too. I think that's very entertaining. And I think that's a great way for him to cover that form of pop culture on TikTok, which is like, it's a lot crazier than shit that happens on YouTube. I'll tell you that much. Like even with the nonsense that happens on YouTube, it's nowhere near as bad as TikTok. So they need to stay on top of that stuff. I do like Ben Shapiro. I don't agree with everything he said. Obviously, I mean, nobody's ever going to agree. I like Matt Walsh, but I don't agree with everything he said. I think he has a lot of
a dick, but okay.
Oh yeah, that's why I like him. He's a dick, like, you know, and he's unapologetic about it too.
Yeah.
Which, you know, and you kind of like Trump. He's a dick and he's unapologetic. So
yeah, but Trump was funnier.
No, but did you see the one where they were trying to cancel him and he's just like, yeah, you can't cancel me. I'm not going to apologize. I'm like, dude, massive respect. Finally,
yeah, he's like, you can kiss my ass. I was like,
yeah.
Yeah.
But you know who else does some really good reviews on TikTok? People, 3 YouTubers, Blair White, Buck Angel. Buck Angel does some, and the Offensive Tranny.
I have not heard of that person.
Offensive Tranny is a trans man. Like Buck Angel.
Okay. Yeah.
Same thing. Does stuff about the TikTokers and is basically has the same opinions. Has been on Buck Angel. Buck Angel's been with Blair White. They've all gone on each other's channels. And
I honestly agree though that the best work is being done by YouTubers.
It is, and that's been part of the problem, is because YouTubers, while we have a massive, like, overall as YouTubers, like, not myself personally, obviously, but you know, YouTubers in general have a massive reach. They still don't see quite the same overall reach as the MSM.
Yeah,
and frankly, you guys like the Daily Wire are more visible than we are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and what gets to me about the Daily Wire, okay, so I know that they've got guys like Andrew Klavan reviews games. You know, Ben Shapiro does review movies. This Brett Cooper chick, the new one.
Oh, she's great.
She touches on a lot of different stuff, mostly relating to Gen Z and that kind of thing, which is fine.
Weirdly, I'd touch on her stuff, but okay.
Dude, she's young enough to be your kid.
Yeah, she's in her early 20s now, so not that young. She's but yeah, there's probably like a 14-year gap, so it's a little too
I thought
much.
you preferred Gal Gadot.
I do. Gal Gadot is fucking incredible.
Yeah. Anyway, before we get off track on that again, so
it's Saturday, remember?
Yeah,
anything goes.
I would like to finish my fucking point, please. They have consistently ignored the impact that these pop culture things have on the rest of Western culture. That has been the problem. It's not just, and I'm not laying this all on Daily Wire, I'm just using them as an example, but you know, even guys like Tucker Carlson, for example, or you know, I think maybe one of the only people who ever was really like, oh yeah, it's all tied together, was Alex Jones, and fucking nobody was listening to him.
So you know who Tucker Carlson, which surprised me, had Eric July on. That one was awesome. Eric July and the guy who drew the Rippaverse were on with Tucker Carlson.
Greg Al-Taib, I think.
Yeah, but they had to make almost $4 million to do that.
Yeah, that's true too.
So to
be fair, the speed with which they did that was very newsworthy.
Yeah.
Oh no, absolutely it was. But at the same time, though, you had to do something that was almost unheard of to get that,
to even get noticed. Yeah,
to get on the radar of that, because these people are so far up their own ass, just like CNN is. It's like, I don't even watch Fox News. Quite frankly, Fox News can go kick a bag of dicks down the fucking road. I watch YouTubers for information, whether it's pop culture or politics, more than I watch any of these other ones. So yeah, I just can't, because most of the time, yeah, every once in a while a squirrel's gonna get a fucking nut, but it's like most of the time these dudes are so far off base. It's like I have no desire to listen to you. Like, And then when you have Fox News people doing the same thing as CNN, talking over like fucking guests, it's like, that's it, I'm done. Like, you're done. Like, you're just as bad.
Well, and at a certain point, yeah, you gotta recognize like the right wing shit, the left wing shit, even the middle shit, or what calls itself the middle shit, which never is actually on the middle. All of them are pretty much in the same boat. That's why when I said that we are the media now, right? I meant that absolutely, but it wasn't just that we are, but that we have to be.
Yeah. Though, what impressed me was Ron DeSantis is at least trying to be on top of it. I think the thing that really made me realize that was the fact that you heard he offered libs of TikTok that he's like, did you hear that? Libs of TikTok said that Governor DeSantis's people contacted her after she was doxxed and said, if you don't feel safe, you can come. We have a guest house on the governor's manor that you can stay in for as long as you need to. So he's so on top. He knew about Libs of TikTok and everything that she's been doing, and when she was doxxed, was willing to get her down to Florida to keep her safe. That impressed me, because the thing is, what was even more impressive is he didn't bring it up during the campaign. This happened back during before the governor's election. It would have earned him even more favor and probably more votes for doing that. Instead, he remained silent about it. It wasn't until Libs of TikTok herself said, yeah, the governor contacted me and said, I'll give you a place to stay.
Have a great night, Em. Kohai, I mean, you're gonna want other sources to say.
I listened to Tucker Carlson as well, because
we know you do, because you get a lady boner.
I'm referring here to Kohai's comment about how she gets 99% of info current events from these live streams. It's more interesting. No. And I appreciate that, but really branch out your sources.
Well, yeah, no, definitely. And also, so I every once in a while I'll swim out to
That's a lie.
I'll swim out to weirdo waters, and I'll watch some videos of some of them, like G&G and like Critical Drinkers and Gary's biggest critic, which is like what the hell's his name? Him and his weirdo friends go nuts all the time. But anyway, yeah, just to no, not Ethan Klein. It's Chaos something. Anyway, he's a YouTuber who basically just all they do is rant about what Geeks and Gamers and Nerdrotic and all that are doing. They literally watch their videos and they rip them apart. Like, they don't ever. But you know what? I got to be honest, they're fucking entertaining because they're so stupid. I have laughed my ass off a time or two, but it's always good to have the other side's perspective, because it's like you're looking at it like, okay, guys, like going, this is kind of shit. Like, that's a shit take. And as I said, I disagreed with Tugs earlier today about the whole entire Army Hammer thing. It's like, I still think he's a piece of shit who committed crimes. And it's like, did he grape anybody? I don't know. I don't have that information. And he's saying he didn't, but it's like, okay, I can say the sky's purple, doesn't make it fucking true. People lie.
I don't know about the grape thing, but I'm pretty sure that he ate somebody.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm pretty sure he's talked openly about that.
And I think Dermy Wormy was kind of poking fun a little bit, and he's like, well, did he cannibalize anybody? And she's like, she was just like, you need to read the article. And it's like, that's not a good point of reference. Read the article. It's like, it's what the weirdos tell us to do on Twitter all the time. Well, if you don't agree with it, you need to read the article. And it's like, okay, like, but look, I love the G&G team. I think Tugs is great, but she's susceptible to wrong takes. Just like, I was wrong about the Eliza Blue thing. I actually defended Eliza in the beginning, because I was like, hey, sometimes Brittany can be kind of a butthole. I like what she does, but she could be kind of a jerk. And then, of course, by the morning time, I was way wrong. And I was like, dude, I fucked that one up. I humped the bunk there. Like, because she'd got the quartering locked out by then. I was like, yep, bad take for me.
And I too, until you guys told me about it during Royal Rumble, I was like, oh my God, this is getting really annoying. And the quartering needs to get, this whole, every time he was making a video, I would tweet about it, but I'm locked out of Twitter. And now so I was wrong too, about the whole thing. I changed my mind about it. And now knowing that a bit more about her, it's like, Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're all entitled to have our own bad takes. It's going to happen from time to time. You just got to be like, hey, man, I fucked that one up. Fucking move on. And you know, I don't understand the people who defended Amber Heard. I don't get it, but there are many people who did it. They're still doing it, and I don't understand why. You know, okay, so he didn't possibly didn't grape anybody, but he still acted like a raging piece of shit. Why would you defend him for that? It's like, you know, and she literally said, she's like, well, the allegations were over him sexually assaulting somebody. And I was like, okay, well, he admitted to these. So it's like you can't knock that off the table because you're like, well, I don't care about that. He just didn't force himself on somebody else. Still be a piece of shit. Like,
Yeah.
like where's the nuance in that? And it's like, you know, so anyway, that's just my personal opinion. Sorry.
Mhm.
I
What are you
want to
apologizing for?
Oh, I don't know, because sometimes I feel like I talk too much.
No.
Yeah.
No, I
Well,
sometimes feel like I talk too much. So
if I feel like
Hey,
Ryan
wait a
talks
minute.
too much, we just put something in his mouth.
Hey,
Well, look, I want to take this time to apologize as well.
for what?
I don't know. I just didn't want Ryan to feel like he was by himself.
All right,
Well-
fine. You know what? I don't want you guys to feel like you're by yourselves. I'm gonna apologize too.
But you know what, Kat? No, you owe me you owe my friend an apology
uh-oh.
Why?
because your name is Kat. And since your name is Kat, that means you're a feline. That means you're friends with my wife's cat, who tricked us into thinking that our friend's cat was cool to stay with us until we found her last night cornering the other cat, getting ready to beat it up. After she tricked it into going upstairs into the room, closed the door, and cornered him. Now
I'm
he
not gonna
won't come downstairs.
I can neither confirm nor deny any of these allegations.
I'm sure it was your idea. But the
Probably
fact
was,
that
but
my
I can't-
cat tricked us for a week, she tricked us. She stood next to this cat. We're thinking everything's fine after months of us trying to get her to understand that our friend's cat was not here to take over anything because our friends are staying with us temporarily. All of a sudden, she decides she wants to beat him up. As soon as we weren't looking, as soon as everybody relaxed, she tricked us.
Well, as I said, I can neither confirm nor, as someone who is clearly connected to the feline army, I can neither confirm nor deny any of that.
So
Yeah,
you
I'm
admit
sure-
there's an army.
No, I cannot either confirm nor deny the existence of an army.
You sound
Uh,
like the Biden administration.
Real quick, Shadow, you should apologize for this though.
There's another one he should probably apologize for, but you said you'd go easy on it.
That one I will save that for special occasions. You know, when we break the lube out.
Lord. I'm telling you.
Actually, okay, so Kohai, I think you were out of chat at the moment, but
What the
Amira was
hell?
in chat earlier, and Ryan kind of got
Wait,
into it
what?
with her a little bit about that.
Oh God,
Hey,
yeah.
Samuel, did you ask Amira for permission to brawl? Why would he? What?
Oh, you don't want to know.
Oh, he knows. It's all that stuff about Amira saying you belong to her.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I
Kinda thing.
was poking at her.
Wait. Did something happen on this stream?
Yeah, earlier in
earlier.
the stream.
What the hell did I miss?
Amira shows up in chat, and so Ryan's like, so I heard that I have to go through you if I want Larry on my show, and she's like,
Oh, you
damn
should've
right, he's
done that.
mine.
Yeah, you shouldn't have done that. That chick's possessive, dude. She's probably serious.
Yeah, no, I was like, wow. I said it kind of irony there of you know. Anyway, you should go back and rewatch it. It's pretty fun.
Irony of what?
That she's being possessive over the black guy on the stream.
Well, she is Arab.
I mean,
Yeah, and that was one of the things that was talked about.
Yeah. We Arabs are very possessive.
I mean, I'm
So-
not saying it in a bad way. It's just Amira in particular. I mean, she's a lioness. She does not like giving up her prey. You know, no matter what it is, it could be an Xbox or something. You know, Wow, I must have really missed something.
nah, it
You
was
didn't catch my Xbox.
I think we was about at around 40 minutes in or something.
something like that. Yeah, and she actually was. She jumped on for a minute, but she didn't stick around.
Oh,
It's because she sounded like she was in her car and then she cut out. Or that's probably going to be the likely story.
well, she probably was in her car.
So
Yeah.
I mean, if she can't handle the heat, then don't step into the fire.
Kerry was on here too, but he had to drop out for some reason. So
Well, his internet is not really.
that's kind of what I was thinking, but I don't know. I texted him. He said that wasn't the case, so I'm assuming something else is going on. He was probably needed elsewhere.
Oh, well.
Would be my guess. But hopefully everything's okay, dude.
Yeah, everything. I'm sure everything is. Hey, by the way, Ryan, tell I can't believe I'm saying this. Tell JV that he did a really good job last night.
Okay. In what in particular?
His presentation.
Okay.
The news, the way he gave it. I mean, I'm not talking about the, his speech impediment. He's doing well on that too. But no, I was impressed with his delivery last night.
Okay. Yeah, no, I'll let him know. Yeah. So, I mean, did I add you to the chat, the group chat? I don't think I did.
I think you were going to, and I think Kat blocked me.
Wow.
Wow, I really am
Wow.
a nasty Arab.
I've heard you and Amira talk. It sounds rough when y'all talk.
Oh God, the things we say you don't want to know.
I believe it.
Plans involve airplanes.
No, stylish vests.
Stop.
I'm just joking, Kat. I'm just joking.
I'm not. I bet she did it.
Probably.
But I have been checking my Twitter every day to see if I've been suspended.
Well, I check my Twitter when I follow a couple of celebrities who are, well, not very big ones, just to see if they blocked me every now and then, because like there's one or two really small voice actors I follow, and every time I'm like sure they're gonna block me because they see like, I mean, it literally says in my bio, anti-woke, anti-SGW, and so I'm like waiting for them to block me. So far they haven't. Guess saying you like their character they voiced, kind of.
Kat, are you twat swatting people?
How'd you know?
Because M told us. M's Mad World told us.
Damn it, Em! Stop telling them what I'm doing! Are you gonna tell them everything? Do I have no secrets? Is nothing sacred anymore?
Is it because you haven't gotten any dick pics?
Yes! Oh wait, maybe I did. Oh, the hot guys send me their dick pics.
Yeah.
Well, what do you guys want? Yeah, see? I got to be dick pics.
I forgot about that.
That's funny. That's funny. But I will say this though. Samuel sent me he sent me something in a private message on Twitter about another person on Twitter, and I followed the guy, and right after that he got nuked right off the site. I think he said something about Liza Blue. And
yeah, that was Manuel DeFengo.
Oh yeah, no, he was pulling out a lot of receipts on Twitter,
going back decades.
Yep. Yeah, he was posting all her dirty business, and there's a lot of dirty business coming out of that pooter.
Yeah, and everything he linked was something that she herself had either been party to or had put up on the internet herself.
Mm-hmm.
And yet he got nuked. So he got nuked for posting public information that she originally posted herself. Yep. How stupid is that?
Well, she's besties with Ella Irwin, who's the new Yoel Roth and head of Twitter safety, and so I think the only thing Ella Irwin has going for her is she's not about the child pornography, but it's just the same old business. I think she's all about censorship, and I think as soon as Elon Musk stepped away to deal with this whole lawsuit thing with Tesla, I think that's when things started kind of ramping up. Because he's been dealing with that for the last what, week and a half or something.
Right.
Yeah, so she waited for him to step away, and now she's like, "Ha."
Yeah, I think she started dropping the hammer out, and it's like I'm not, Elon, he can't, and he even said this too. He's like, I can't run 3 companies at once. He's like, I gotta ultimately eventually hand off Twitter, and I think he said he was going to do it by the end of March or something. Wow. No, yeah, for what you said, nope. Still a lot of snakes in the grass.
Yeah. Yeah, there was some spittle in that picture too.
Mhm.
Wait, is it
Yeah.
coffee brand coffee?
No, it's coffee brand jizz.
Yeah. It's Jizz brand Jizz.
Must be a new flavor they're selling.
Oh, what's funny because last night on your show Royal Rumble, so I think it was Mags brought up like the whole blue milk thing, right? Or I think green titty milk, I think is what she was getting at with Jake Skywalker and all that.
Yeah.
So, do you guys remember a web comic called the Blue Milk Special
No.
from
No.
years and years ago? It was a Star Wars fan comic, but it was like pretty dirty. Anyway, it gets its name from blue milk, obviously. So blue milk comes from Banthas, right, on Tatooine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The Blue Milk Special comes from male Banthas.
Ew.
So if you go into like Mos Eisley and you go into the cantina and you order the Blue Milk Special, basically you're drinking Bantha jizz.
Okay.
Well, at the end of Willow, they were drinking worm jizz, so
Hey,
there's
Bernie.
that.
Ugh.
Yeah.
They
it's-
were?
Oh, they were
Oh,
drinking worm
yeah,
jizz.
yeah, they were.
It was mother's milk, but the worm was male, so there's only one kind of.
Oh God!
And
why?
Nasty.
It looked real thick too.
Ah.
Yeah, and there's a male character that's just he scoops his hand and you just see it like dripping off, like like elongated, like it's
I am not gay. I have relationships with women, sex with men.
And I got news for you. That means you gay.
That is never going to get old.
The look on his face because he knew it too.
yeah.
It was when you were like holding a hand, cupping this stuff up to your mouth.
Oh, that's how he did it. He scooped his
know.
hand in and he's like,
Oh God!
Ugh.
it's mother's milk.
Well, it's father's milk, but okay.
And then you guys wonder why I'm so into the corpus. There's none of that in the corpus. Thank God.
Corpus just means body, right?
Yeah.
Well, the corpus is into robots, so okay, whatever.
Yeah, and if you kiss one of those robots, they're gonna shoot you. They don't even have arms. They have long legs and heads with guns.
Hey, I didn't write it. Your weirdo creators did so.
That's Destiny 2. Destiny 2 has the stupid robot you kip.
Whatever. One of your franchises you like has fucking robo sex going on.
Oh, you want to piss people off on Twitter? Just tell them that Osiris isn't gay. And that he's into robots. You'll piss off the losers.
I don't think I follow the right people for that. Just gonna say.
Yeah,
No,
I'll be honest. Only I think you, Muggsy, and Shadow would have any idea what I was talking about in terms of like people I interact with on there.
No, well, I don't think I follow enough of them because I don't really follow a lot of Destiny people anymore. Because honestly, it's just I would sometimes when it was trending after the whole robot thing. So I was looked into some of the things, and they're like, "Well, it's time for all the homophobes to uninstall Destiny 2." I'm like, "No, it just sucks. It has nothing to do with that." So I'm like, and then I was criticizing. Yeah, none of them follow me. They got pissed at me.
Yeah.
Well,
I
don't be a bigot.
Yeah, well,
That's
if
true.
you got no, if you proudly call yourself a non-binary femboy, I get to call you a soy boy and make fun of you.
This femboy thing is weird.
Yes.
Right.
I hate to break it to you, but no woman wants a femboy.
Well,
Yeah.
Here's the thing: is a lot of these femboys, these soy boys, they can't help it. It's what they've been made into, molded into, and I don't mean just like culturally. I mean like genetically and biologically, given what they've been fed on.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have low testosterone because it turns out soy and seed oils leach the body of testosterone.
Yeah, it's true. Also, yeah, don't touch receipts because receipts actually secrete a chemical that that actually lowers your testosterone. It raises your estrogen level.
Yeah. So,
If they get salty, then be Salt Bay.
Salt Bay.
yeah. So, but yeah, it's so some of that is not entirely their fault, but they could choose to make changes that will maybe not entirely fix that issue, but certainly turn the tide against it. You know, like say working out more, cutting seed oils and sugar out of their diet. You know, growing hair on their nuts instead of shaving everything. Just saying, men shouldn't shave their balls.
Primal says receipts. Yup. It puts artificial estrogen into your bloodstream. So throw that. So if anybody offers you a receipt, be like, nope.
Yeah, and here's the thing about male and female biology they don't tell you, especially when it comes to swapping genders or sexes, as it were, is that male bodies are calibrated to testosterone, female bodies are calibrated to estrogen. In the opposite sexes, too much of the wrong hormone poisons you.
Yeah, that's why these people end up with a lot of health problems over time.
You end up with a lot of different cancers, rare and weird cancers that you know have never occurred anywhere else in history. You know, it does all kinds of bad shit to you. You know, it's something else that they don't talk too much about, and I don't want to get too much into the hot button topic here, but when it comes to abortions, there's almost a 1-to-1 ratio for women who've had an abortion or one or more abortions and developing breast cancer later in life.
I saw someone with a T-shirt that said she had 21 abortions.
I've seen that.
21.
So, and that's the thing. It's like it those hormones and all of the things that your body does to prepare for having the child and the fetus itself, like all of that stuff has to go somewhere so it gets reabsorbed. The problem is we're not really designed to do that. And it throws everything out of whack. And so you end up with like weird proteins and hormones in the wrong places. And a lot of times, yeah, they end up with breast cancer, and a lot of them end up with cervical cancer or uterine cancer, that kind of thing. And it's not right away. It's one of those things that happens over time. But yeah, it sets the seeds for your cells to start going out of whack down the road. And obviously, those kinds of cancers can happen for a variety of reasons. I'm not just blaming it on the one thing. I'm just saying that there is a nearly 1-to-1 ratio of women who've had an abortion when they were young. When they're older, 40s, 50s, maybe they develop some form of cancer, usually in the breast tissue.
Well, I mean, that's why it's like the less drugs you use, the better. The natural approach is the better. And yet now you're you're messing with people's biology. I mean, the chemical balance in the body is so delicate, and you're throwing it, and we are already throwing it off with the horrible diets we have. Add even more chemicals. I mean, like I said, I took ADHD medication for like 2 years, and I decided, even though it did make a difference, not to, because I just didn't want to keep ingesting this chemical that you know, for the rest of my life. What's the long-term effects of that?
Nothing good. And that was the other thing. Like, so there's so huge focus on mental health in this country at this moment, right? Huge focus on people saying like, oh, we've got to make sure that, you know, and they're pushing all kinds of drugs and all kinds of therapies and telling you to get your mind right. And what they're talking about are balancing hormones within your brain, generally speaking. Now, if the hormones in the brain are that delicate, why are they ignoring the hormones in the rest of the body when it comes to these other topics? I mean, is the human body not a balanced ecosystem? If you throw one thing off over here, won't it screw something up over there? I mean, it's just like introducing a foreign species into a closed environment. There's going to be havoc later. You know?
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about something that is at the very heart of what makes, you know, your DNA, your very heart of who you are, and you are messing and throwing it off whack, and you're not.
Yeah. Boa, that is sort of true. What that is from, so there have been men who have developed a kind of mouth cancer or throat cancer from doing that. But it isn't just from doing that. Usually it's for women who have active infections of HPV.
That's good to know.
You know, something like one in every 3 sexually active adults in the United States carries the HPV virus, whether or not they have symptoms. So I mean,
Holy shit.
it's a risk, but yeah, so it can happen. It's not as common as you might think, but yes, that it is a possibility.
That's wild.
Yeah. So chances are, if you've boned, you've got some form of HPV, and you've probably also got some form of herpes, even if you've never seen symptoms.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I've seen the commercials.
Most people don't see symptoms. Most people are just carriers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, unfortunately, human beings are the only ones that have managed to pass around the different herpes viruses. There's like genital, and then of course there's a different kind which is oral, and we've managed to swap them. So now people are getting genital herpes in their mouth, and they're getting oral herpes on their junk.
Right. Oh, and YouTube, we're not doctors, so fuck off. Primal One, there are several oral cancers. You can get it from a variety of things. Smoking is one of them. Chewing tobacco is another one. I mean, these are cancer-causing agents, and so it will fuck with the cells in your mouth. Yes, HPV possibly can cause it too, but that's, again, you're probably more likely to get it from smoking than you are from that. So,
which it's also good to basically don't have sex with a bunch of fucking people.
There's another argument to be had there that maybe pairing off with one person for the rest of your life is probably the healthiest way to go sexually.
Yeah.
Not just for religious or social reasons, but also just biologically speaking. You're probably not going to catch herpes from another virgin. Probably.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I mean, also at the same time too, as long as you don't shack up with somebody who's like, yeah, I've had like 27 different boyfriends, and it's like, and I know there are people who like, they're like, well, it's just a number, and it's like, yeah, is it though? It's like, if you came across a guy who's like, I've slept with 50 different women, who really wants that dirtiness around? Like, obviously you're easy to just stick your dick in crap.
Well, yeah, and then you just don't. It's just better. It's just better not to. I mean, it's like, and I grew up in the West, same as a lot of us. I grew up with a lot of the stigmas on one side from religious stuff, and a lot of the same, free love crap on the other side. So I have always had kind of a laissez-faire attitude to it, and I've been a bit of a whore at times in my life. I have.
You don't say.
I have. Well, I do say, Larry, just because you already knew about it. I ain't saying that it was a good idea or it was smart, and there was consequences to some of it. I got married, for example, and then divorced. That had nothing to do with the whoring thing. That was just where it ended up. But yeah, it's not good. It's not healthy. So like Primal One says that he hasn't had sex yet. Good, keep it that way. Honestly, you're not missing much. And it is a very different experience when you're performing the act with someone that you genuinely care and have affection for, and with just some random person. It's a very different experience.
Because when it's with a random person, it's awkward as fuck.
Yeah, it is.
Like literally awkward as fuck.
Yeah. Well,
when it's somebody you've gotten to know over the course of a few dates, you've spent time with them, like the both of you want it to happen. So both parties are willing. Also at the same time, from my ex, because I'd been out of the dating game for so long, I learned some new things, and I'm not saying that she got around, because she was married before that, but I learned some things from somebody who was in a marriage, who marriages sometimes got to spice it up a little bit. I learned some stuff that I was like, I had no idea what the fuck that was. I didn't know that was a thing. And and there's nothing wrong with that too, because when you get older, it's okay to say, hey, I like this. It's really not that hard. And I think honesty is one of those things too that is best to have in a sexual relationship.
Yeah.
So
it is, and that's
speaking of that.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Sam. I interrupted you.
Well, I was just going to throw this out to Michelle says she made it to 400 poems. Very cool.
Congratulations, Michelle.
That's cool.
And,
Yeah. You should put them all in a book. You can
Yes.
easily.
She did.
Oh, did you? Okay, yeah. And I about to say you can. I know a friend who a former coworker like that writes and sells her own books on Amazon. Like you know,
Yeah,
it's
she's supposed to be getting it up for pre-order here soon. When we have the links to that, we'll disseminate them.
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Hey, jumping on to the topic, as you guys are talking about this, I've been hearing stories about how Japan's population is almost becoming an endangered species, and according to that, if you want to believe the Sun, because I know that their population has a lot of elderly, but they're blaming sex robots for it. They're saying that the men are they're getting attached to
Now, I'm
sex
curious,
robots.
who's blaming the sex robots for it? Is it scientists in the West or is it Japanese people who are blaming the
No,
sex
it's
robots
a
for it?
tabloid. The Sun.
Okay. Yeah.
Well-
So that is a thing over there, but I don't know. I think it just has more to do with the fact that the whole culture is geared towards productivity, right?
Yeah.
The entire culture is geared towards work, right? Doesn't leave a lot of time, and frankly, I think the men outnumber the women in Japan as well. It's not
I
quite
think-
as bad as the ratio in China, but I think there is there was a period where more boys were being born for whatever reason than there were girls, and it just hadn't quite recovered from that. And most of the people are aging out. You know,
Yeah. Well, Iceland had the same problem too because so Iceland as a country has literally about 157,000 people. That's it.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
and so there
are
having
more
this-
people in the state of Wyoming than there are in Iceland.
That's
Wow.
true. And the reason I know that is because of one of my goals was to one day, because I've always wanted to own like a summer house in Iceland or something like that. You know, obviously you got to make a lot of fucking money, but you know, it's you know, and so I looked at that because there was a rumor. It's like, well, they're Iceland is paying American men to come there to help basically stabilize the population. Now, that rumor's not true. However, Iceland did have a destabilization of the population because yes, there were vastly more women than men. And quite frankly, it also came out with the joke that the country of Iceland, everybody is related because they've had to basically interbreed in some
Well, if the
form
stories
of
of their
descent.
origins are true, they are all related.
Yes,
I mean,
yes,
it was
so-
a handful of settler families that came over when the Vikings discovered the place and founded it. So yeah, I mean, in that respect, then yes, that's absolutely true. But that also would hold true of the descendants of the 13 colonies here in the States too, because there weren't that many colonists to begin with.
So no, my whole entire goal is I don't want to move to Iceland because I was like magically like, oh my god, like, you know, I'm gonna find some Icelandic girl who's like way super hot and marry her. No, it was because I'm kind of a person who likes to be by myself on a large plot of land and leave me the fuck alone. Like
On an unfarmable lava flow, you mean?
well, not necessarily. I had a nice town picked out. It's called Husavik. And it has a population, I think, of maybe what is the population? Something's drastically small, like 1,500 people or some shit. Maybe it's not that small, but anyway, yeah, no, it's just like it was a beautiful fucking little town, like whaling town. 2,307 inhabitants. And so yeah, I wanted to live there because it's like a small little like whaling town. It's right there on the water. It's beautiful, and I was just like, dude, like this is me. This is my retirement right here. I'm like, I'm digging this, and so. It's also one of the reasons that, like, you know, kind of like Montana's on the table too. I'd like to, you know, if that's never possible, I'd move to Montana where it's still remote and it's like I can live and I can have a plot of land and I can fucking do what I want.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, in Montana, you don't have to ask the elves for permission by law to blow up a tree stump.
Yeah, that's a good point. There still is the belief in elves are magical. It's nowhere near as prominent as
I don't have
obviously.
problem with that. I mean, like that's kind of part of my belief system too. But I do kind of have an issue with fucking asking them permission to do what I'm gonna do.
Well, they also leave the elves offerings too.
Yeah, they do.
Some of them still do.
In Montana or in?
No, Iceland.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, Montana.
But no, Iceland is gorgeous. Like, so Iceland is basically its name is wrong. So like Greenland is basically what you would think Iceland is, and then of course Iceland is what you would think Greenland is.
Yeah, and it wasn't a naming error in the beginning; it was a cartography mistake.
Yeah, it was. So yes, Iceland definitely has lava flows and stuff like that, but it has some of the most beautiful, I'd say, countryside of probably almost any country in the world, if not the most beautiful. So I just like the remoteness. I'm just a quiet guy. Like whether it be with like a wife and kids, it's like, I keep my circle small. I keep my friends' circle small.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy. Be like, oh no, I know this person. It's like I don't really care that much. I just don't. It's called an earlier historical troll, right? Yes, I'm a rural guy. I grew up in a rural small town. Yes.
Yeah,
I
like the idea of Iceland too. Yeah, I do like the idea of Iceland. I like the volcanic remoteness of it. I think the people are beautiful. I think their language is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I've met a few people from Iceland, and I don't know how they are on their home turf, but out here they were extraordinarily friendly and open to discussion.
Extremely, yeah.
And I mean, they were all about 3 feet tall, but same could be said of the Japanese.
Which I've always wanted to go to Japan too.
Same, especially with the Nintendo World Open.
I've been to Japan, albeit briefly. My wife's been there too.
I want to show just so people can get kind of an idea of what it looks like, because some people probably might not. Oh, fuck. I highly encourage people to travel as much as possible, because you know what, you only live once. Why did I get a threat alert from looking up images of Iceland?
I don't know. It's the whole thing's. They're having a lot. Are you on Twitter?
No. I'm on fucking I'm on fucking Google.
Oh, well, then I have no fucking idea. I don't know. Is something going on in Iceland that we should know about that they don't want us to know about?
Oh no, I don't understand.
Maybe. Well, Gmail's been acting funny too. Maybe they shouldn't have fired all those people at random like they claimed to have.
I don't think they did it at random.
I don't believe so, but that's their story. But all of a sudden, I'm having problems with my second email account. All kinds of stuff that things that don't make any sense.
Yeah, that's something else that I noticed too, guys. If you try to get into contact with me via the email that's on my about page here on YouTube, you may have some issues. That is a valid email address, but there has been issues with people who didn't already have it trying to contact it or receive emails from it lately.
I've had that problem for a while. When Shadow was trying to send me some email, I found it eventually buried in some a spam folder or a trash folder that anyone who tries to send me emails through for months now.
Yeah.
So I claim this town for myself, so nobody else gets to move there. Fuck you guys. It's mine.
Come on.
I mean, I could treat it like the Vikings of old and just burn it to the fucking ground around your ears.
2,300 people, dude. Look at that shit. That looks like a great place to live.
Yeah, I agree. I'm like you. I like that idea of what you're saying. Just quiet.
Yeah.
So,
Michelle, I think that's a weird question. I don't know.
And right, do you all agree that I look like a female elf? No, I don't think so.
I mean,
is that your real picture?
Yeah. Maybe
is it really? No, you're
maybe an elf glamour, but I believe in old school elves. I believe in the ones that were covered in blood and dirt and grime and stole babies.
Well, yeah, because you have to.
Excuse me, sorry.
Jesus.
No,
you know what's funny? You know what's funny is that Kat has a nice microphone and she still uses that goddamn headset.
It's because
Because I
she has
can't get the
problems with the
goddamn
boom.
arm to work.
Whoa. Why are you so angry?
Hey, Izzy Pop.
Because I'm fed up with the stupid arm. It never works. This is the second
She's
one.
gonna blow it up.
If you're tired of the arm, just sit on it for a little bit and then you can call it the stranger.
Dude.
I'm not proud of that.
You shouldn't be.
I'm not proud of that. God.
Oh man. Now I think I don't even know what to say to that, man. I'm tripping over my own words. All that wants to come out of my mouth is fatwa.
Sounds like fun. Let's do it.
Jihad!
The chat is turning. They're like, no, Ryan, no. Michelle says, thank you, Ryan. My husband always teases me, call me his elf wife. Well, how tall are you? Because so Samuel, you're 6'5", I'm 6'4". I don't know how tall.
6'8".
No, you're not.
No, the fuck
not.
you're not. You're like 5'2", woman.
6'8".
So
Otherwise,
because you said it one time.
You told us
was
you were
lying.
you were like 5'1" on a good day.
So if Michelle is like, she's 5'8", you're not that short. I mean, so I don't know why.
No, you're actually tall for a woman.
Yeah.
You're actually above average.
Well,
yeah, a
right.
little above average.
If she's talking about the same elves that I'm thinking of, then height's not really a factor.
I mean, I don't see it in the looks for her profile photo. I mean,
Yeah.
if anything, she looks very pretty.
Okay, so Michelle, you're gonna have to clarify. Do you mean elf as in like high fantasy Tolkien-esque, or do you mean elf as in like Oberon and Titania?
you definitely don't mean
'Cause
elves from Guild
that's
Wars
a different
because
thing.
those are tree elves. They literally look like trees.
Yeah.
We're talking the elves that live in little houses about this big on the mountainside, and you put offerings.
Zillage, that means she gains an extra inch for confidence.
Yeah. Well, technically, all human beings throughout the day, we actually shrink and then increase as our body. Yes, I meant Tolkien.
Okay, so that would be where my
elegance.
Yeah.
So you're very elegant.
When I think of elves, I think of like the world of the Fae, where they, like I said, they kidnap firstborn sons that are never seen again.
Yeah, no, if she's talking about Tolkien, she's talking about elegance.
Like, the wild hunt that's always talked about in The Witcher, that's a thing in Gaelic mythology. The elves come to Earth and they hunt people.
Yeah.
I mean, like, they're not nice elves. They're not pretty. They might make themselves look pretty, but underneath they're wearing like the bloody rags made of the blood of the skin of their catches and their kills, which are usually people.
Cool.
They've got sharp teeth. They're liars. They're deceivers. They're murderers.
Yeah, no, I would say Michelle. He says because my friends always say I look like an elf from Tolkien. No, that means you look very majestic. So you're always very like if you remember seeing Galadriel, not Galadriel from Amazon, but Galadriel, like played by Cate Blanchett. She's always very like majestic looking. She has that beautiful aura around her.
There's a grace to her.
Yeah, there's a beautiful grace to her, and quite frankly, I think Cate Blanchett is incredible in the Lord of the Rings, and even in the Hobbit movies. So no, that is very much a compliment.
Yeah, Zillage kobold is just a Teutonic word for the same thing. No, it's an old Germanic word that means pretty much the same thing. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, your ears aren't pointed, so that, I don't know.
I would make a joke based on some of the conversation we had earlier, but I don't want to do that. I feel like it's kind of disrespectful. I was gonna say we need proof. Send pictures. Like we were talking about dick pics earlier. It's like it's like
pics or it didn't happen.
Yeah, pictures or it didn't happen. But no, I think that's definitely a very good thing, and we're not talking about Amazon's Lord Tolkien garbage.
Which Amazon Tolkien thing? I didn't know Amazon made a Tolkien thing. Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, they said they did.
Yeah,
God,
well,
what a piece of shit that was. God,
Yeah.
that thing was
Yeah.
terrible. I was so bad. Like, and I know this is like going to be super controversial. I enjoyed watching Velma more than all fucking 8, 10, whatever the fuck it was of that crap. Because quite frankly, at least Velma, I got a reaction out of. Cat Sims for Guylatry. Oh no.
I saw a look on her face. She was watching the screen when it changed. It was great.
Well, Kat does love Velma, so too. She loves Amazon's The Rings of Power and Velma.
Michelle, I don't know that that's necessarily a good. I will.
Yeah.
I will do it offline, not online.
Yeah, no, it was just a joke. We were joking. No, but in the sense of what your friends and your husband are talking about is a very good thing, because Tolkien wrote the elves to be very majestic.
I mean,
almost
unless you're talking about Feanor.
ethereal creatures. So that's why they live for a long time and they thrive at night. And it's like, they're
It's
kind
also
of like,
why the orcs hate them and they hate the orcs, because the orcs were elves who were twisted by Morgoth into dark and nasty
Yep.
reflections of the elves, and they remind each other of the sides of themselves that they can't stand.
yeah. Well, I mean, and we even see where Galadriel is even, she is susceptible to the Ring of Power in the movies, and even though it's briefly, because her will is so strong. But yeah, it's like every creature in Tolkien is pretty much corruptible, no matter how strong their will is. So, well, if you watch Rings of Power, I can't even fuck. What's her name?
Issa.
Yeah, Disa. She doesn't have a beard. And you know what's funny is that I actually like the character of Disa, like in the show itself, but like the actress
beginning.
is such a fucking drag.
Yeah.
It's so wonderful to see elves of color finally, and it's just like, and of
Yeah,
course,
because
the guy who plays her husband, he's just like, during that interview, he's fucking eyeballing her, like, dude, come on, seriously.
Yeah.
Hate the virtue signal. I'm so tired of it.
Yeah.
Disa nuts. Oh, and then they had her fucking her fat thigh hanging out. It's like, come on, guys, like that's not flattering. Like,
They don't
look,
care.
yeah, it's
And
like,
then
well,
they'll accuse you of body shaming if you say anything about it.
yeah, it's just fucking retarded. It's like, come on, dude, you don't
All
have
of
to
it was.
do her like that. Yep, Zelda's an elf. Yep,
Yeah.
I love me some Legend of Zelda.
There's
Even
a new one coming out.
Yeah.
Isn't
sequel to
there
Breath of the
always a new
Wild.
one coming out?
Yeah, well, this was a sequel to Breath of the Wild, which is actually
Would-
pretty good.
That's what I heard. I don't know. I haven't really got into Zelda since A Link to the Past.
I love The Link to the Past.
What was the last Nintendo 64 one? Because that's the last time I gave a shit.
Majora's Mask?
I think Majora's Mask was before, wasn't it? Or is it?
Are you talking about Ocarina of Time?
No, yeah, it was Majora's. So yeah, Ocarina of Time, and then it was Majora's Mask. Yeah, so that was the last one I gave a shit about. It just got. I didn't like the Wii. It got super like.
Yeah, no one liked the Wii or the Wii. Well, especially the Wii U.
I feel like the story got like super convoluted. I feel like, well, how are we gonna retell the same story different ways? I know they're all different games. I
But
don't know.
it helps if you think of Ganon not as a single being, but as an archetype.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that though.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, that's the direction they took. So.
Yeah, no, I know. I remember playing the original Legend of Zelda. I remember watching the 80s television show, which I know some people are like, oh my god, like, in the show, Link tries to kiss her numerous times. That's so rapey, and it's like,
oh god, nobody cares.
It's
like,
not.
Yeah, there was I pulled up the intro to it a long time ago, and there were people in the comments like, look how he's trying to force himself. Yeah, well, excuse me, yeah, And yeah, they got fucking super played out, but at the same time, it's like, come on, man, that was classic animation. You know, you had the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, like, you know, it's
Yeah.
just like, it's
I
like, oh my
preferred the
god,
Zelda. I
yeah,
preferred the Zelda, and that always bothered me that they only showed it on Fridays. Like
yeah. I
it
got
was much
the
more entertaining to me.
you can buy the whole season on Amazon. You probably get it on Amazon or eBay. I got the whole entire season, just the episodes by themselves. So definitely something to do. I think it's great. But yeah, they're talking about like he keeps trying to kiss her and force himself on her.
It's because they're talking about a whiny ass loser generation of babies who cry about everything.
So
These would be the same guys who don't have a problem with Bowser kidnapping a princess and always keeping her in another castle.
Just
they
wait, the movie's not out yet.
Oh God.
Yeah, but Bowser's the villain, so they're going to make him super, super sympathetic.
Oh God, dear God, no.
You
As
got
I said,
non-binary.
according to the whole Nintendo guy I know, he's like Nintendo's deeply involved and Nintendo cares about their lore and Nintendo doesn't care about
Sure they do.
non-binary, whatever you care. This is Nintendo, they don't care. Why
Well,
all you want?
I will agree that Nintendo does not bend the knee, and Nintendo always has a lot of interactions with their content. And so you know, also at the same time, we obviously saw people who be like, they're like, oh my god, like, do you see the rainbows there? They, you know, people from the other side don't know the franchise. It's like, dude, that's Rainbow Road from Mario Kart, you dumbasses.
Yeah.
Like, so there's idiots on all sides with this. So I'm hoping Mario's good. I don't know about Chris Pratt's voice, you know, which it's fine. It's like whatever. But the only thing I had a problem with was kind of like Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, like when Princess Toadstool or Princess Peach, whatever you want to call her, you know, she literally steps on the thing. It's like and she catches it, and I'm like, she's not really a warrior. Sorry, she's a leader. Like what princess is going to be battling? You know, it's like that just doesn't work for me. But we'll see. They thought that they thought people were talking about her outfit. It's like, well, that's her Mario Kart outfit. Like, no, I know that,
that's from you.
dumbass.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with that. And I honestly, I don't really have an issue with the Mario movie. I'm just nitpicking at this point. I don't have much interest in it because at a certain point in the 90s, I stopped playing Mario games and started playing Sonic games because I switched over to the Genesis and left Nintendo behind.
Yeah.
This is one of the few movies I actually have any hope in.
That
would be good because I know someone from Nintendo and he was like, yeah, no, Nintendo's very involved. Nintendo is very obsessive. Here's something people don't know about. Like they are so caring that we want to know why they don't want their games on well, putting aside the fact that they want exclusive rights. They don't put their games on PC as well because PC is uncertain how the experience will be presented. You know how people have different computers and they want people to experience their games the way they want you to experience it. So it's on the Switch. It's with a Nintendo controller, and Nintendo, you know, they're very, very controlling of their IPs, especially after, you know, the disaster that was the Mario movie, the live action one.
Hey, I still kind of like that one. I was a kid.
That movie is bad, but it's
it's horrible. But
you guys remember Double Dragon with Alyssa Milano?
I'm trying to forget it.
Yeah.
I'm still
You know,
trying to forget it.
what was that Street Fighter movie with Van Damme and
Yep,
Jean
yeah, I like that one too. I was a kid. But my absolute favorite is the original Mortal Kombat. That is the Mortal Kombat movie for me. The new one that came out, I thought was a pile of shit. I hated it.
It
And
was better than Mortal
$500
Kombat
sunglasses,
2.
asshole.
It was better than Mortal Kombat
yeah.
Annihilation.
In a sense, yes, but at least Mortal Kombat Annihilation still kind of had that cheesy love to it in a sense for like the gaming franchise. Because
I'm curious because I don't think I've had a chance to talk to any of you guys about this. Did y'all see the remake of Mortal Kombat?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, the one that came out.
Like
yeah. Did you? I was
2000.
curious about your thoughts on that. Yeah, it was just real recent. Yeah, on HBO Max.
Didn't like it.
I liked it, but it definitely has its drawbacks. I thought it made no sense not to have Scorpion as the main character. I'm not gonna spoil it for Cat in case. I mean, like I said, I did like the movie. I thought that the acting was great and everything. I thought it was well done, but it has its drawbacks. It's not a perfect movie, but I did like it.
I think that the I think a lot of people who were talking about it at the time were right. The first 7 minutes are the best parts of the entire is the best part of the movie, and it's the first 7 minutes are excellent. Um,
Mhm.
and I think there's moments throughout that are really excellent, but that's all they really are. They're moments. Uh,
Mhm.
there's some real, really dull character development on part of the protagonist. He's just not that interesting.
Yeah,
He just
no,
isn't.
he's not,
And
and
he
that's one of the issues that I have with it.
the other thing is, and not to spoil too much, but he develops literal plot armor,
Yeah, he does.
like literal act on his body, plot armor.
Yeah, armor. Yeah,
Yeah.
the lead, I definitely did not like. I was just like, there was
Yeah.
no need to create this character. There's so many characters in Mortal Kombat that they could have used. Why would you?
Right. But there were things that I really did like. I liked a lot of the nods to the game fans. I liked the use of the word fatality. When it came up, I liked the fact that I couldn't believe they put Natara in there. But what happens with Natara was glorious.
Yeah.
So there was.
And it sucks too because Natara is one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, and I will say that Goro looks better in this movie than he did in the '92
one?
movie.
Yeah.
But
I
the 90
disagree. I think he looked like ass. Sorry. I thought he looked atrocious.
I watched them back to back, and it just the claymation stuff really looks. Sometimes in older movies it can hold up well, and especially that bit where he's on the cliff with Johnny Cage. It just looks bad.
I mean, I definitely see problems with both,
Mhm.
but it's just I don't know that the most recent one does not do it for me. It's almost kind of painful to watch, in my opinion. I really struggled bad. So I know
I enjoyed the movie, but I did not love it.
I mean
I
I didn't say I hated it. I feel like a lot of I feel like it was overly gruesome for no reason because I mean Mortal Kombat has always had violence, but obviously the games have progressively been more gruesome just to be more gruesome.
It's kind of their brand at this point.
Well, it is now, but it's not what that was in the 90s. I mean, you would see blood
Yes, it
splatters. I mean,
Like, you need to go back there and play that shit again, man.
I don't know.
exactly.
I played that shit. I remember them fucking uppercutting people into the acid and fucking I mean, it just I don't know. I feel like it went overboard. It got very hokey. It's like
Oh yeah, now their eyeballs bounce out no matter what happens to them with every fatality.
and then they're doing these half fatalities where they're punching people and you see their fucking chests cave in and bones break, and of course they're it's just I'm like, what the hell is that?
But no, I have to agree with you there, Ryan, because it makes no sense because you see all of that and then they get right back up and attack you. It's like
Wait,
nothing happened.
What's that? Boba, what?
I mean, we could probably pull up a clip if you want. It just looks hokey as shit.
Oh,
it's like a half. It's like a fatality, but it takes half your life away, but it doesn't kill you. So I guess brutality is what you.
About, Cat.
It's fucking terrible.
There it is.
Emeralds? You mean the? No, I don't like shiny rocks.
What's wrong
I
with
think-
shiny rocks?
Emeralds. He's like, do I like emeralds? You mean the rock?
I think he was talking about rocks, but we were also talking about Mario and Sega at the time, so he might have been referring to Chaos Emeralds. I don't know.
Well, if
It's-
he means
It's just sorry, go ahead, Kat. I'm gonna cut you off.
no. I mean, if he means, I'm not a jewelry person. I'm not a.
Kat,
I'd
you
rather get
represent the Lollipop Guild.
I don't want. No. No.
Do you like licking lollipops?
No,
No.
it's because she's so short.
I know what it is, but I'm trying to turn it into something else.
Yeah, because you're gross.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. That's why I'm trying to do it. Don't bother me, none. You play all you want.
Okay.
It's your
I got to
stream.
figure out this loop feature for video clips.
Is that the what was that, the Blue Worm special or whatever you said it was earlier?
I think it says Ryan Blue now, but it used to be Blue Raspberry.
Yeah, because It came about because I'm always drinking Gatorade Zero, but I get the blue, which is like Arctic Glacier Freeze or something like shit like that.
Oh, it's referring to your screen name. So
Oh.
at the time, I don't think it was.
was
Lollipop
Galadriel.
Guild. So yeah, it was. Okay, he was probably just making a joke that went over my head.
No, it was Galadriel, and then I changed it to Cat. Oh no. Don't you understand? I have employers who need me to represent my employers. One sec, I'm dying here. Give me a sec.
Cat represents the Lollipop Guild.
Cat represents the corpus. Oh, thanks a lot. Now I just died.
Cat represents Velma.
Cat kills Velma. I would smack her a good hard. God damn it.
I don't think you would. I think you secretly like Velma.
All right.
You,
Well,
Not
guys,
profitable enough. She does not.
I think
God
we're kind
damn
of winding down here, so we'll probably bring the stream to
God
a close.
damn it.
Across the with Cat cursing away in the background as she's wont to
I know,
do.
right?
Stupid. Lizards.
So we'll go counterclockwise. Lawrence Knight, anything you want to talk about before we go?
No, I'm pleasure to be here. It's been a great week of streaming, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens after that. And you know what? I will say this: as far as the news, as far as being the news, I have no problems with us taking up the mantle ourselves, and that meaning just people on social media, people who are willing to speak up, because really that's what you need. And as you can see, just with the things that YouTube does on behalf of mainstream media, it just goes to show that when people speak up and they use their voice and not afraid, you can see how much it shows how much change can actually happen, and maybe that'll wake some people up.
Yeah, maybe.
I hope you're right, because there's a lot of stuff that needs to be changed, and if we don't do something soon, I fear for our future.
Yeah.
I think we'll ultimately win, if you want my honest opinion. It's going to take a while, and it's going to continue to be something that, much like Gary says, the more people who make YouTube channels and speak out about this, the more that the message is going to keep spreading. So, because normal people, most of the time, they don't know about this crap. They're living their daily lives. And so, then all of a sudden, like, it kind of blows up in their face, and they're like, whoa, what the hell is this? And it's like, well, there are people who've been talking about it because the others are lying to you. So, but it's just
Right.
more 2 cents. It's nice to see that you were let out of your cage there, Larry, so you could come visit. You weren't being trafficked by a certain person.
Certain felines.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. See, I'm the senior officer of the corpus. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yes, you do.
We don't traffic people in the corpus. We employ them.
I'm just
and pay
saying.
them very low wages.
I'm just saying, free Larry. I'm an advocate for free Larry.
He's going to end up in a Beirut like auction block.
Oh my goodness.
So, but Ryan.
I have another live stream I am hopping on in 50 minutes. It is called Skinemax Saturday. Basically, it's on Vets Talking. It's a new channel from some veterans of the Legion of Memers who are actually military veterans. We stream on Saturday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we also we get pretty wild, much like we do here. So that'll be starting in 50 minutes. I can put the link in the chat. If anybody wants to stop.
Subscribed.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
cool. Yeah,
Put
yes.
the link in the chat.
Okay. Yeah. So I think it's something you guys will enjoy, and it's something that's done by the Legion of Memers, who obviously, if you stop by on FN Friday nights for the Rumble, they like to meme shit and drop it with us. So last night was pretty funny when we had Anita Sarkeesian pegging Neil Cuckman, who So,
yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
That was good.
So,
Kat requested that Neil Druckmann get pegged by Anita Sarkeesian.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we
might-
know it's happening. I didn't request anything. I just asked for it to be shown. We all know it's happening.
It was just hilarious because literally the Legion of Memers was on it, and it's like ask and ye shall receive, and I was like, oh my god, there it is.
Yeah,
It's fucking hysterical.
I gotta start reaching out to the Legion members I know and plug in Kohai.
Wait, someone needs to send that to me because you know what? I am going to tweet it at Anita Sarkeesian.
Oh, hey,
you
hey,
send
Kat,
that to me, I am going to at Anita Sarkeesian with that one.
Well, what? Oh, sorry, Larry. Go ahead.
Ryan, just real quick. I just want you to hear this because I'm on Vets Talking.
Mhm.
FIRS.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Cat, plug your stuff.
I just literally looked, you fucking bastard.
I mean it though. Somebody sent me that image they did of Anita yesterday. I was sent this to Neil Cuckman, and Anita Sarkeesian on Twitter. What are they
Man,
gonna
she
do?
was
Block
drilling
me?
him too.
Oh
She
yeah,
was drilling him in that meme. That was hilarious.
dude, going in dry.
Yeah.
That's no lube, baby.
Yeah. So, Cat, plug your stuff.
All right, tomorrow I'm going to probably be live streaming unless I have to do laundry. Don't know what I'm going to be live streaming. Maybe Final Fantasy 14, Guild Wars 2, Dead Space. Who knows? I'll be live streaming something. Tuesday, I will be live streaming as soon as the game is downloaded, and ready to go. I will be live streaming Hogwarts Legacy on launch after I get home from work. Got to be wearing my my Ravenclaw robe, and we're gonna. I don't know, PC or Xbox, whatever starts working first. Thursday, me and Shadow have Merry Madness. I think it's supposed to be on my channel this week. We'll see. It depends on what he's doing, what I'm doing, but it's 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Friday, Royal Rumble with Ryan. Friday's 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and then we're back through the week again. If you play Destiny, plug my channel because I've noticed people aren't getting my videos, and I primarily make my stuff for gamers. So, peace.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And as for me, I am Samuel the Infamous from Samuel the Infamous. New banner, new day, that kind of thing. Here we are. Here we shall remain. Screaming into the void on Saturdays, Abyssal Musings on Thursdays, and anything else that comes up when it comes up, just because that's sort of how I run things, which is to say I'm very chaotic and disorganized. Also, I would like to make a minor announcement here, a possible, hopefully I'll be able to keep everything on schedule this week as well, but there are some IRL stuff going on that I'm not going to get into that may prevent that. And if it does, I will let everybody know in the community tab prior to, anybody missing anything. So, but we wanted to make sure that we kept schedule today and all that. But so that said, otherwise, sometimes I sneak into Ryan's back door on Fridays.
I would have phrased that so differently.
I know you would have. And
yes, and I'll just say this: you don't have to ask anymore. You just slide right in. All right. It's okay. I give you the go ahead.
I mean, you're good and gaped now. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm glad that you're talking about the IRL stuff too. I'm glad you're finally coming out. It's good to hear. I just want to say I welcome you with open arms because I've been here for a while now. So
yeah, well, I've got more arms than you do. So pucker up. Anyway, yeah, so we'll figure anything that comes up, I will definitely let you guys know in the community tab going forward. But thanks for joining us. This has been a lot of fun. Enjoyed this. Miss Carrie, I don't know where he got off to, but I am whatever. We'll talk to him soon. Hope he's okay. Hope everything else is okay. And that said, have a great night, everybody. Yeah.
Good night.
Toodles.
Save the world.